My beloved child, before you continue with this moment, I want you to quiet the noise around you and listen carefully to my voice. There is a reason your eyes have found these words today. This is not an accident, nor is it merely another message passing through your day. I have been watching over you through every moment you have lived, even the moments when you believe you were completely alone. Today, I want to pull back the curtain just enough for you to understand something your heart has long needed to hear. My faithful servant, Archangel Michael, has been carrying out my command to guard and protect you, even when you could not see what was happening around you. Perhaps you have been feeling unusually tired. Perhaps your heart has carried a burden that no one else seems to notice. Maybe fear has whispered to you in the quiet hours, convincing you that you are surrounded by uncertainty. You have wondered why life has felt like an uphill climb, why certain battles never seem to end, or why peace has felt just beyond your reach. My beloved, I have heard every silent cry that never escaped your lips. I have counted every tear that fell when no one else was watching. Nothing about your journey has escaped my attention. Today is not like yesterday. There is a divine purpose unfolding that you cannot yet fully see. While your eyes have been focused on visible struggles, there has been an invisible work taking place around you. Doors you never knew existed have been closed for your protection. Dangers you never recognized have already passed by because I commanded that they would not touch you. The battles you thought you faced alone have never been yours to carry by yourself. Do not mistake silence for absence. When heaven seems quiet, it does not mean I have stopped working. Often my greatest miracles begin before you notice the first sign of change. Like the first light that slowly appears before the sunrise, my plans have already begun moving into place. Even now, while questions still fill your mind, my answers are drawing closer than you imagine. Archangel Michael does not move by his own will but faithfully fulfills mine. Wherever I send him, my authority goes before him. Wherever I establish my protection, fear must surrender its place. This is why I tell you not to let anxiety become the voice that shapes your future. There are realities beyond what your natural eyes can perceive, and my love reaches farther than your deepest fears. As you continue listening, allow your heart to remain open. Do not rush ahead with doubt or allow old disappointments to convince you that nothing can change. I am inviting you into a deeper understanding of my care for you. Before this message is complete, you will begin to see your journey differently. You will recognize that I have never abandoned you, never overlooked your pain, and never forgotten the promises I have spoken over your life. Today is the beginning of a fresh reminder that my protection surrounds you, my peace is reaching toward you, and my perfect love is stronger than every fear that has tried to take hold of your heart. My beloved child, there has never been a single moment when you have walked beyond my sight. Even when you believed you had been forgotten, my eyes remained fixed upon you. Even when your heart whispered that no one understood your pain, I understood every thought before you could put it into words. I have never measured my love for you by your strength, your success, or your ability to remain unshaken. I have loved you through every victory and every failure. I have remained beside you through every joyful celebration and every lonely night. You have often looked back over your life and wondered how you survived certain seasons. There were days when you believed you had reached the end of your strength. There were moments when fear surrounded your mind like a heavy fog, making it difficult to see even one step ahead. Yet somehow you continued. Somehow, another morning came. Somehow, hope appeared again, even if only as a tiny spark deep within your heart. That was not chance, my child. It was my hand sustaining you when you could not sustain yourself. There were conversations you never heard taking place in heaven concerning your life. There were assignments given according to my perfect will. My faithful servant, Archangel Michael, has never acted apart from me. He serves because I command him, and his strength reflects my authority. Whenever I sent him to guard your path, it was because my love had already gone before you. Whenever unseen dangers were turned away, it was because I had already declared that your journey would continue according to my purpose. Do not imagine that my care for you began only when you started seeking me more deeply. My love has surrounded you long before you recognized it. Like a father who quietly watches over a sleeping child, I have remained near, protecting you from dangers you never noticed and comforting you in ways your heart could not always explain. There were moments when an unexpected delay frustrated you, but that delay became your protection. There were opportunities that disappeared, and you mourned what you believed you had lost. Yet I saw what those paths would have brought into your life. I closed certain doors because my wisdom could see far beyond what your eyes could understand. Think of a shepherd walking through the darkness with his flock. The sheep may only see the narrow path beneath their feet, but the shepherd sees the cliffs, the hidden dangers, and the safest way forward. The sheep do not always understand why they are being guided away from one direction and toward another. Yet the shepherd's heart is always set on their safety. In the same way, my beloved child, I have been leading you even when my direction did not make sense. Every step has been guided by my perfect love, not by chance or uncertainty. You have asked why certain prayers seemed delayed. You wondered if heaven had become silent. But silence is not the absence of my presence. Often I am arranging countless details beyond your understanding while teaching your heart to trust me more deeply. A seed planted in the ground does not break through the surface on the same day it is sown. Beneath the soil, unseen growth is already taking place. Roots are spreading. Life is forming. Strength is developing long before the first green leaf appears. So it hath been with many of my promises in your life. What you could not see was still growing according to my timing. Never allow disappointment to convince you that I have abandoned you. The enemy delights in planting thoughts that say you are alone, forgotten, or unworthy of my attention. Those thoughts do not come from me. I call you my beloved because that is who you are. My love is not fragile. It does not disappear when your faith feels weak or when questions fill your mind. I remain faithful because my character never changes. Even now, as you hear my voice, I want you to release the burden of believing you must carry everything alone. You were never created to fight every battle through your own strength. You were created to walk with me. When fear rises, remember that I remain beside you. When uncertainty surrounds you, remember that my wisdom reaches beyond every circumstance. When your heart grows weary, remember that my strength never fails. Lift your eyes beyond what you can presently see. I am still writing your story. I am still opening the path before you. I am still surrounding you with my care. My faithful servant continues to fulfill every assignment I give according to my perfect will, but above all, it is my love that surrounds you every moment of every day. Rest in that truth, my beloved child, and let your heart begin to find peace, because I have never left your side, and I never will. My beloved child, there are stories about your life that you have never been able to tell because you never knew they happened. You remember the struggles that stood before your eyes, but there were countless dangers that never reached you. There were moments when your heart sensed that something could have gone terribly wrong, yet somehow everything changed without explanation. You called it luck. You called it coincidence. But I tell you now, it was neither. It was my loving hand moving before you, guiding, shielding, and preserving you according to my perfect will. You often measure my presence by what you can see, but my greatest works are frequently hidden from human eyes. Just because you did not witness my protection does not mean it was absent. The wind cannot be seen, yet you know it is there because you watch the trees bend beneath its strength. In the same way, my protection has surrounded your life even when your natural eyes could not perceive it. There were days when you took a different road than you originally planned. There were conversations that ended sooner than expected. There were invitations you never accepted and opportunities that slipped away despite your disappointment. You question why those things happened, believing they were setbacks. Yet I could see every path long before you arrived there. I knew what lay ahead, and in my mercy, I redirected your steps. What appeared to be an inconvenience often became an act of protection. My faithful servant, Archangel Michael, has carried out every assignment I have given according to my authority. His strength is not his own, and his victories are not independent from me. Everything he does is accomplished because I have spoken. Never place your trust in the servant above the one who sends him. Let your confidence rest in me, for I am the source of every act of protection, every rescue, and every moment of deliverance. Imagine a child walking through a crowded marketplace while holding the hand of a loving father. The child notices the colorful displays, hears the voices of strangers, and becomes fascinated by everything around them. Yet the father notices dangers the child cannot see. He gently pulls the child away from a rushing cart, steers them around broken ground, and keeps them from wandering into unsafe places. The child may not understand every gentle correction, but each one is motivated by love. So it has been with you. There have been countless times when I quietly redirected your life without fully explaining why. My purpose was never to withhold good from you. My purpose was to preserve you for something greater. Perhaps you have wondered why certain plans collapsed just as they seemed ready to succeed. You mourned dreams that never came to life. You questioned whether I had forgotten your prayers. But my beloved, not every closed door was a loss. Some doors concealed pain that would have wounded your spirit. Some relationships carried burdens that would have stolen your peace. Some successes would have drawn you away from the path I had prepared. Because I love you, I protected you from outcomes you could not yet understand. There were also moments when fear tried to convince you that darkness was winning. The weight upon your heart became so heavy that you questioned whether you would ever smile with genuine joy again. Yet even in those seasons, I was accomplishing a work that reached beyond your understanding. Every attack against your hope became an opportunity for my faithfulness to shine more brightly. Every attempt to discourage you became another reminder that my power is greater than any force that rises against you. Do not spend your days fearing what tomorrow may bring. If I have faithfully watched over you through the years you cannot change, will I not also remain with you in the days still ahead? The one who protected you yesterday has not grown weary today. My strength has not diminished. My wisdom has not failed. My love has not become smaller. I remain the same, steady and faithful, through every season of your life. I want your heart to begin seeing your past through new eyes. Instead of remembering only the pain, remember the survival. Instead of focusing only on what was lost, recognize what was preserved. Instead of asking why every hardship came, begin thanking me for every unseen danger that never reached you. Gratitude opens your heart to recognize my faithfulness in places where fear once tried to take root. As you continue this journey with me, let this truth settle deeply within your soul. You have never been unprotected. Even when storms surrounded you, I remained your shelter. Even when you felt vulnerable, I stood as your refuge. Even when you believed no one was watching, my eyes never turned away. I have carried you through battles you never knew existed, and I will continue to guard your path according to my perfect wisdom. Therefore, walk forward with confidence, not because the world is free from trouble, but because my presence goes before you. My love surrounds you, and my purpose for your life remains secure in my hands. My beloved child, I know there have been days when you could not explain the heaviness resting upon your heart. You smiled in front of others, yet inside you carried questions that seemed too deep to express. You fulfilled your responsibilities, spoke kind words, and continued moving forward. But there were quiet moments when your soul felt tired beyond what physical rest could restore. I have seen every hidden burden. I have heard every silent sigh. Nothing about your inner struggle has been concealed from me. Do not believe the lie that your seasons of pressure mean I have abandoned you. Pressure is not proof of my absence. Many times, it is in the very midst of pressure that I draw closest to my children. When you walk through valleys, I do not remain on distant mountaintops waiting for you to climb back to me. I walk beside you through every shadow, every uncertainty, and every tear. My presence does not depend on your emotions. Even when you cannot feel me, I remain faithfully near. There is a reason your spirit has been stretched. I have been strengthening you in ways that comfort alone could never accomplish. Just as a tree grows deeper roots when strong winds force it to hold firmly to the ground, your faith has been growing beneath the surface during these difficult days. The storms were never sent to destroy you. Instead, I have been using them to establish within you a confidence that cannot easily be shaken by changing circumstances. You have wondered why old fears suddenly returned. Memories you thought had healed seemed to rise again. Doubts whispered during quiet nights, and anxiety tried to convince you that your future will resemble your past. My beloved, these moments have not surprised me. Healing is often like the careful restoration of a beautiful home that has been damaged over many years. Before the walls can be strengthened, hidden cracks must first be revealed. Before lasting peace fills your heart, I gently bring hidden wounds into my light, not to shame you, but to heal you completely. My faithful servant, Archangel Michael, continues to carry out my commands as I protect your path. But remember this truth: the greatest battle I desire to win in your life is not merely around you but within you. I do not only shield you from visible danger, I also work to free your heart from fear, bitterness, hopelessness, and every burden that tries to steal the peace I have prepared for you. My protection reaches both your circumstances and your soul. Think of a potter shaping clay upon a wheel. The clay may not understand why it is being pressed, turned, and carefully molded. If it could speak, it might believe the pressure was meant to harm it. Yet every movement of the potter's hands is filled with purpose. Without that careful shaping, the clay would never become the vessel it was created to be. In the same way, I have never allowed pressure into your life without purpose. My hands have remained upon you throughout every difficult season. I have never stepped away, even when you question my plan. Do not confuse temporary discomfort with permanent defeat. The chapter you are living now is not the end of your story. There is still beauty that has not yet appeared. There is still joy waiting to bloom where sorrow once seemed rooted. There is still peace that will settle over your heart in ways you cannot yet imagine. Every lesson, every challenge, and every moment of endurance had been preparing you for the days ahead. I know there have been mornings when simply getting out of bed felt like an act of courage. I know there have been evenings when you replayed conversations, wondering whether you had failed, whether you had disappointed me, or whether you would ever feel whole again. Listen carefully, my beloved. I have never measured your worth by your moments of weakness. I see the heart that continues to seek me despite its weariness. I see the faith that refuses to disappear, even when it feels as small as a flickering flame. That small flame is precious to me, and I will not allow it to be extinguished. The enemy has tried to convince you that your struggles define you. He has whispered that because you feel pressure, you must be failing. But I tell you the truth, your identity is not found in your battles. Your identity is found in my love. You are my beloved child. The truth does not change when your emotions rise and fall. It does not disappear when circumstances become difficult. It remains secure because my love is unwavering and eternal. So release the burden of believing you must have every answer today. You do not need to understand every step in order to trust the one who is leading you. I am already in the tomorrow that worries you. I have already seen the outcome that remains hidden from your sight. The pressure you feel today is not greater than my strength. The fears you carry are not stronger than my promises. The darkness you have encountered cannot overcome my light. Lift your heart toward me once again. Let my peace begin to quiet the anxious thoughts that have circled your mind. Allow my love to replace the fear that has lingered for too long. You are not walking through this season alone. I am holding you, guiding you, strengthening you, and preparing you for a future that reflects my goodness. Though your spirit has felt the weight of pressure, it will also experience the freedom that comes from resting completely in my faithful hands. My beloved child, I do not want fear to become so familiar that you mistake it for wisdom. There have been times when fear has spoken to you so often that its voice almost sounded like truth. It has told you to expect disappointment before hope. It has urged you to prepare for failure instead of trusting my promises. It has whispered that you are vulnerable, alone, and surrounded by forces too great for you to overcome. But today I call you to listen to my voice instead, for my words carry life, peace, and unshakable truth. Fear has never been your master. It has only tried to convince you that it was. Every time anxiety tightened its grip around your heart, I remained near, inviting you to rest in my presence. I did not grow distant because you struggled. I did not turn away because questions filled your mind. I waited patiently, extending my hand to you again and again, calling you to lift your eyes above the storm and remember who walks beside you. When I send my faithful servant, Archangel Michael, to fulfill my purposes, he stands where I have commanded him to stand. He does not act from his own authority but from mine. His courage reflects my power, and his obedience reflects my perfect will. Wherever I appoint him to guard, darkness cannot claim victory unless I allow it for purposes greater than human understanding. This is why you need not fear the unseen. The one who reigns over heaven and earth is the one who watches over your life. There are moments when fear arrives quietly. It does not always announce itself with loud panic. Sometimes it enters through endless worry, through restless nights, through the constant expectation that something will go wrong. It persuades you to imagine tomorrow's troubles before tomorrow has even begun. It steals today's peace by filling your thoughts with possibilities that may never come to pass. My beloved, I did not create you to live as a prisoner of imagined disasters. I created you to walk in the confidence of my faithful care. Imagine a traveler walking through a dense forest before sunrise. Every shadow appears threatening. Every sound seems dangerous because the darkness hides what is truly there. But as the sun rises, the traveler begins to see clearly. The frightening shapes become ordinary trees. The imagined dangers disappear in the light. Nothing about the forest changed except the light that revealed the truth. In the same way, my presence brings light to the fears that have lived in the shadows of your heart. When you allow my truth to shine upon them, many of the things that once terrified you lose their power. This does not mean you will never face real challenges. You live in a world where difficulties exist, where sorrow visits, and where unexpected trials arise. Yet even in those moments, fear does not have to rule your heart. Courage is not the absence of hardship. Courage is choosing to trust me while walking through hardship. It is believing that my hand remains upon you even when the path becomes difficult. It is remembering that I see every step ahead, even when you can only see the ground beneath your feet. The enemy delights in magnifying your problems until they appear larger than my promises. He hopes that if you stare long enough at your obstacles, you will forget to look toward me. But lift your eyes now, my beloved. Consider all the times I have already carried you. Remember the seasons you believed you would never survive. Think of the tears you cried, the nights you endured, and the burdens you thought would break you forever. Yet here you are. You are still breathing. You are still seeking me. You are still surrounded by my love. That is not because your own strength was enough. It is because my faithfulness has never failed you. Do not give fear permission to write the story of your future. Let my promises become the words that shape your expectations. When uncertainty knocks at the door of your heart, answer it with trust. When anxious thoughts rise, bring them into my presence instead of allowing them to grow in silence. Speak to me openly, for I already know every concern hidden within you. There is no burden too small for my attention, and no battle too great for my power. Remember the little child learning to walk while holding a loving father's hand. The child may stumble, but the father's grip remains firm. The child may become frightened by unfamiliar surroundings, but the father's voice offers calm and direction. The safety of the journey does not depend on the child's strength alone. It depends on the father's unwavering commitment to protect and guide. So it is with you. You may have moments of uncertainty, but my hold upon you is stronger than your hold upon me. Therefore, let your heart release what it was never meant to carry. Lay down the constant need to predict every outcome. Surrender the exhausting habit of expecting the worst. Instead, receive the peace I freely give. My faithful servant continues to fulfill every assignment I entrust to him, standing where I have commanded, and carrying out my purposes with perfect obedience. But above every heavenly assignment stands my eternal love for you. That love is your true refuge. That love is your secure foundation. And wherever my love reigns, fear must surrender its place. Walk forward, my beloved child, not because the road is without challenges, but because I go before you. I remain beside you, and I will never cease watching over you. My beloved child, there have been moments when you prayed with such sincerity that your heart felt completely poured out before me. You searched for words when tears became your language. You whispered my name in the stillness of the night, hoping that somehow your voice would reach heaven. At times, when the answer did not come as quickly as you hoped, you wondered if your prayers had faded into silence. You questioned whether I had truly heard you or whether your cries had been lost among countless others. I want you to hear me clearly today. Not one prayer has ever escaped my attention. Not one tear has fallen unnoticed. Not one sincere cry from your heart hath been ignored. Before your lips formed the words, I already knew the longing hidden within your soul. Before you knelt in prayer, I understood the burden you were carrying. I do not listen to you because your words are perfectly spoken. I listen because you are my beloved child. Your voice is precious to me. Even when all you can offer is a weary sigh or a heart too broken to speak, I understand what you cannot express. There are prayers you remember offering years ago. Some of them seem unanswered even now. You have looked back and wondered why certain requests were not granted. You asked for immediate healing, but recovery took time. You prayed for doors to open, but they remained closed. You pleaded for relationships to remain, yet they ended. In those moments, disappointment tried to convince you that I had remained silent. But my beloved, my silence was never indifference. It was wisdom working beyond what you could see. Imagine a loving father holding the hand of a small child standing beside a river. The child reaches toward the rushing water, fascinated by its movement, asking to step closer. The father gently says no and leads the child in another direction. The child cannot understand why the request was denied. To the child, the refusal feels unfair, but the father sees the danger hidden beneath the surface. His answer is not rooted in rejection but in love. So it has been with many of your prayers. When I answered differently than you expected, I was not withholding goodness from you. I was protecting you from what your limited vision could not yet perceive. There have also been prayers that I answered so quietly you almost missed them. You asked for strength, and I gave you endurance to face another day. You prayed for peace, and I slowly calmed the storm within your heart before changing the storm around you. You sought wisdom, and I placed gentle guidance in your path through unexpected conversations, timely encouragement, or quiet conviction deep within your spirit. Because my answers did not always arrive in dramatic ways, you sometimes overlooked them. Yet they were my answers all the same. My faithful servant, Archangel Michael, fulfills every assignment I give according to my will, but understand that every heavenly action begins with my purpose. Nothing moves apart from my command. When I send help, it is because my love has already determined the moment. When I provide protection, it is because my wisdom has already seen what lies ahead. Heaven is never inactive. Even when your eyes cannot witness its work, my purposes continue unfolding with perfect precision. Do not measure my faithfulness by the speed of my answers. A gardener does not abandon the seed because fruit does not appear overnight. Day after day, unseen growth is taking place beneath the soil. Roots deepen before branches rise. Strength develops before beauty becomes visible. In the same way, many of the prayers you have entrusted to me are still growing according to my perfect timing. What seems delayed to you is often being carefully prepared by my hands. I know waiting can be difficult. I know uncertainty can test your faith. There have been mornings when you asked the same question you asked the day before. There have been nights when you wondered whether tomorrow would finally bring the answer you longed to receive. Yet through every moment of waiting, I have never stopped working. I have been arranging circumstances, shaping hearts, opening paths, and preparing you for blessings that require the right season to flourish. Do not lose heart because you cannot yet see the complete picture. A beautiful tapestry appears confusing when viewed from the back. Loose threads seem tangled without purpose, but the one weaving the design sees the finished masterpiece from the beginning. I am the weaver of your life, my beloved. What appears chaotic from your perspective is being carefully woven into something beautiful by my hands. Every thread has meaning. Every delay has purpose. Every answer arrives at the moment my perfect wisdom declares it ready. So continue speaking with me. Do not allow disappointment to silence your prayers. Bring me your hopes, your fears, your questions, and even your frustrations. I am not offended by your honesty. I delight in your trust. Each time you turn toward me instead of away from me, your relationship with me grows deeper. Prayer is not merely asking for blessings. It is learning to rest in the heart of the one who already knows what you need. Lift your eyes with renewed hope. The prayers you thought were forgotten remain before me. The dreams you entrusted into my care have not been misplaced. The tears you shed have become part of a story that I am still writing. Trust that my answers, whether immediate or delayed, always flow from perfect love. I hear you. I know you. I remember every word you have spoken to me. And because I am faithful, I will continue to guide your life according to my perfect will, bringing every answer at the time that will reveal not only my power, but also my unfailing goodness. My beloved child, one of the greatest lies that has ever tried to settle into your heart is the belief that you must face every battle by yourself. The enemy has worked tirelessly to make you feel isolated. He has whispered that no one understands your burdens, that your struggles are yours alone to carry, and that if you become weary, there will be no one to lift you up. But I tell you today that this has never been the truth. From the very beginning, I have been with you, and I will remain with you until the very end of your journey. You have never stood alone, not even for a single moment. There have been times when the road before you seemed empty. Friends could not fully understand what you were carrying. Family members may have tried to comfort you, yet their words could not reach the deepest places of your soul. There were nights when the silence felt overwhelming, and you wondered if anyone truly saw the battle taking place within your heart. I saw it. I was there. While you struggled to find strength for one more day, my presence surrounded you with a love that never weakened. Remember this, my beloved. Loneliness and solitude are not the same. There may be seasons when you feel physically alone, but you are never spiritually abandoned. My spirit remains close to those who call upon me. I do not visit you only during moments of celebration. I remain with you in hospital rooms, in quiet bedrooms where tears fall unseen, in long drives filled with unanswered questions, and in ordinary days when your heart simply feels tired. There is no place you can go where my love cannot reach you. My faithful servant, Archangel Michael, continues to fulfill every assignment I entrust to him according to my perfect will. Whenever I command him to guard, protect, or strengthen according to my purposes, he obeys without hesitation. But let your confidence always rest in me, not merely in the one I send. The power behind every heavenly assignment is my authority. The peace surrounding you comes from my presence. The victory you experience belongs to me alone. Think of a young traveler crossing a wide mountain path during a thick morning fog. The traveler can barely see a few steps ahead and begins to fear that the path may suddenly disappear. What the traveler cannot see is the experienced guide walking just ahead, carefully watching every stone, every narrow turn, and every hidden danger. The guide knows the mountain because he has traveled it many times before. Though hidden by the fog, he never leaves the traveler's side. In the same way, my beloved, you often cannot see where I am leading you because the circumstances around you seem unclear. Yet I know every step before you take it. I know every challenge before it appears. My guidance does not depend on your ability to see the future. It depends on my perfect knowledge of it. There are battles that seem impossible because you are trying to measure them with your own strength. You ask yourself whether you have enough wisdom, enough courage, enough patience, or enough endurance. You become discouraged because your own resources appear limited. But I have never asked you to overcome life's burdens through your own strength alone. I have asked you to trust mine. My power does not become smaller because your strength feels weak. In fact, it is often in your moments of greatest weakness that my strength shines most clearly. Do not be ashamed of needing my help. Dependence upon me is not failure. It is the very relationship I have always desired with you. A loving child does not hesitate to reach for a father's hand when crossing dangerous ground. That simple act is not weakness, it is wisdom. In the same way, every time you turn toward me in prayer, every time you place your worries into my hands, every time you admit that you cannot carry the burden alone, you are walking in the wisdom I have always intended for you. The enemy hopes that discouragement will convince you to stop moving forward. He wants you to believe that because the journey has been difficult, you should surrender your hope. But I ask you to remember every mountain you have already crossed. Remember every storm that once seemed endless but eventually passed. Remember every season when you believed there was no way through, only to discover that I had quietly made one. Your history is filled with reminders of my faithfulness. Let those memories strengthen your confidence today. There is also another truth I want you to embrace. Every battle is not yours to fight. Some burdens must simply be surrendered into my hands. You spend so much energy trying to control outcomes that only I can shape. You replay conversations, anticipate problems, and carry responsibilities that do not belong to you. Release them, my beloved. Lay them before me. Trust that I am fully capable of accomplishing what no human effort can achieve. When fear tells you that you are surrounded by darkness, remember that my light has never been overcome. When anxiety insists that you have reached the end of your strength, remember that my strength has no limit. When loneliness whispers that no one is near, remember my promise that I will never leave you nor forsake you. Let that promise become the anchor of your soul. Walk forward with renewed courage today. Not because every obstacle has disappeared, but because I am walking with you through each one. My faithful servant continues to carry out my commands as I direct, and my heavenly purposes continue to unfold around your life. Yet above every unseen act of protection stands my own unchanging presence. You are held by my love, guided by my wisdom, and sustained by my power. Therefore, do not fear the road ahead. You are not fighting alone, and you never will be. My beloved child, I know there are wounds that no one else can see. There are scars hidden beneath your smile, memories you rarely speak about, and disappointments that still echo in quiet moments. You have learned how to keep moving even while carrying pain, but I never intended for you to spend your life chained to what hurt you yesterday. I did not create your heart to remain imprisoned by fear, regret, bitterness, or sorrow. I created it to know my peace, my freedom, and my everlasting love. For a long time, you have carried burdens that were never yours to keep. You have replayed conversations, wondering if you could have said something different. You have questioned decisions you made years ago, wishing you could return and rewrite moments that can never be changed. Sometimes you have blamed yourself for things that were beyond your control. Other times, you have carried the weight of another person's choices as though they were your own responsibility. My beloved, these heavy chains have exhausted your spirit, but today I want you to begin laying them down. The past has a way of knocking on the door of your mind, trying to convince you that it still has authority over your future. It reminds you of failures, betrayals, missed opportunities, and broken dreams. It whispers that because you have been hurt before, you will always be hurt again. But those whispers are not my voice. I do not define you by your worst moments. I do not see you through the lens of your deepest pain. When I look upon you, I see my beloved child, still precious, still valuable, still deeply loved, and still filled with purpose. My faithful servant, Archangel Michael, continues to fulfill the assignments I have given according to my will, guarding the path I have prepared for you. Yet there is another work I desire to accomplish within you. I do not only protect you from dangers outside your life, I also desire to free you from the chains hidden inside your heart. My protection is not complete if fear continues to imprison your soul. I want you to experience the freedom that comes from trusting me completely. Imagine a traveler who has carried a heavy backpack across a long and difficult journey. At first, the weight seems manageable. But mile after mile, it grows heavier. The traveler becomes so accustomed to carrying it that he forgets what it feels like to walk freely. Then a kind guide gently says, "You no longer have to carry this. Let me take it." Yet the traveler hesitates because the burden has become familiar. My beloved, Many of the burdens weighing upon your heart have become so familiar that you scarcely remember what freedom feels like. Today I am asking you to trust me enough to release them into my hands. Perhaps someone wounded you with words that still linger in your memory. Perhaps promises were broken, trust was shattered, or love was withdrawn when you needed it most. Those experiences were painful, and I do not ask you to pretend they never happened. I saw every tear. I witnessed every moment when your heart broke. But I also know that if you continue holding tightly to those wounds, they will continue shaping your future in ways I never intended. Forgiveness does not mean declaring that evil was good or that pain did not matter. It means placing justice into my hands instead of carrying it yourself. It means allowing me to heal what human effort cannot repair. It means refusing to let yesterday's injuries become tomorrow's prison. As long as bitterness remains rooted in your heart, it continues to draw strength from your pain. But when you surrender that pain to me, I begin replacing bitterness with peace, anger with compassion, and despair with hope. There are also wounds you have inflicted upon yourself through relentless self-condemnation. You have spoken harshly to your own heart, repeating mistakes long after I have invited you to receive my mercy. You have believed that because you stumbled, you are no longer worthy of my love. But listen carefully, my beloved, my mercy is greater than your failures. My grace reaches farther than your regrets. I have not called you to live beneath the weight of endless guilt. I have called you to walk in the freedom of my forgiveness and the assurance of my unfailing love. Healing is rarely accomplished in a single moment. Like the gentle dawn that slowly pushes away the darkness of night, my healing often unfolds one faithful step at a time. Each day that you choose to trust me instead of fear, another chain weakens. Each time you bring your hurt to me instead of hiding it, another wound begins to mend. Every moment you believe my promises above the accusations of the past, another part of your heart is restored. Do not become discouraged if healing feels slower than you expected. The deepest roots take time to remove, but my patience never runs out. I am not rushing you. I am walking beside you through every stage of restoration. I know exactly what your heart can bear, and I know exactly how to rebuild what has been broken. Nothing is beyond my ability to restore. So breathe deeply in my presence, my beloved child. Release the pain you have carried for far too long. Let go of the shame that has whispered lies about your worth. Surrender every hidden sorrow into my hands. The chains around your heart are not stronger than my love. They are breaking, not because of your own strength, but because my healing power is quietly at work within you. As you continue walking with me, you will discover that the heart once burdened by fear is becoming a heart filled with peace, courage, and hope. You are not defined by what wounded you. You are being transformed by the one who has never stopped loving you. My beloved child, there are moments when you look at yourself and wonder whether your faith is enough. You compare the confidence you wish you had with the uncertainty you sometimes feel, and you begin to believe that your doubts have made you weak. But I want you to understand something that will bring peace to your heart. Faith does not become strong because it has never faced questions. Faith becomes strong because it continues to trust me even while questions remain unanswered. There was a time when you believed that following me would mean every road would be smooth and every day would be free from struggle. Then life unfolded differently. Storms arrived without warning. Doors closed that you expected to open. People you trusted disappointed you. Dreams you held close seemed to drift farther away. In those moments, you wondered whether your faith had failed. Yet the truth is that those very experiences became the place where your faith began to grow deeper than it had ever been before. A tree planted in rich soil does not reveal the strength of its roots on calm days. It is during fierce winds that the hidden strength beneath the surface is revealed. The branches may sway, the leaves may tremble, but the roots continue holding firmly to the ground. So it has been with your life. Every challenge that tried to shake you also gave your faith an opportunity to reach more deeply into my love. What looked like weakness from your perspective often became strength from mine. My faithful servant, Archangel Michael, continues to fulfill the assignments I have given according to my will, protecting the path I have established for you. Yet even as I guard your journey, I am also shaping your heart. Protection alone is not my only purpose. I desire to form within you a faith that remains steady whether circumstances are easy or difficult. I am preparing you not merely to survive life's storms, but to stand with confidence, because you know that I remain faithful through them all. Think of a goldsmith refining precious gold. He places it into intense heat, not because he wishes to destroy it, but because he knows the fire separates what is pure from what does not belong. The process is not comfortable, yet it produces something more beautiful and more valuable than before. In the same way, the difficult seasons you have endured have not been meant to consume you. They have revealed strengths you never knew you possessed because I was developing them within you all along. Perhaps you have noticed that you now respond differently than you once did. Years ago, one unexpected problem might have caused you to lose hope completely. Today, though you still feel concern, you recover more quickly because you have witnessed my faithfulness again and again. You have learned that one difficult chapter does not mean the entire story is lost. You have begun to understand that my promises remain true even when your emotions fluctuate. It is growth, my beloved. It may seem small to you, but I see every step forward. You not become discouraged because you still experience moments of fear. Courage is not pretending fear does not exist. Courage is choosing to trust me despite feeling afraid. Every time you bring your worries into my presence instead of allowing them to rule your thoughts, your faith grows stronger. Every time you choose prayer over panic, hope over despair, or gratitude over bitterness, you are allowing my work within you to continue. The enemy would like you to focus only on how far you still believe you must go. He rarely reminds you how far I have already brought you. He wants you to overlook every answered prayer, every lesson learned, every wound healed, and every mountain already crossed. But I invite you to pause and remember. Remember the seasons when you thought joy would never return, yet I restored your smile. Remember the times when you believed you had reached the end of your strength, yet I carried you farther than you imagined possible. Remember how many fears never became reality because my hand was already at work before you knew it. Faith grows through remembrance. When you recall my faithfulness yesterday, it becomes easier to trust me today. And when you trust me today, you begin to face tomorrow with greater confidence. This is why I ask you not to dwell only on your disappointments. Also remember my victories. Remember my pavilion. Remember my comfort. Let those memories become stones of remembrance along your journey, reminding you that I have never failed you. There will still be days when answers seem delayed. There will still be moments when you cannot immediately understand my ways. But your faith is no longer rooted only in what you can see. It is becoming anchored in who I am. You are learning that my character does not change with changing circumstances. My goodness remains constant. My wisdom remains perfect. My love remains everlasting. My beloved child, I smile upon every step you take toward me, no matter how small it may seem. I do not despise the quiet beginnings of faith. I nurture them with patience, tenderness, and endless grace. I know exactly how much you have grown, even when you cannot recognize it yourself. So continue walking with confidence. Continue trusting when the path is unclear. Continue believing my promises when the world offers reasons to doubt. The faith growing within you today is preparing you for blessings, responsibilities, and testimonies that lie ahead. One day you will look back upon these difficult seasons and realize they were not merely times of survival. They were the very places where your trust in me became unshakable. And because your faith is being rooted more deeply in my love each day, no storm, no fear, and no uncertainty will be able to separate you from the peace that I have prepared for your heart. My beloved child, there are moments in your life when everything appears unchanged on the outside, yet something profound begins to shift within your spirit. This is one of those moments. You may still wake up in the same home, face the same responsibilities, and walk through the same familiar places. But I tell you that your heart is no longer standing where it once stood. I have been preparing you quietly through every lesson, every tear, every delay, and every victory. What seemed like ordinary days were actually forming the foundation for a new season that is beginning to unfold. Do not think that transformation always arrives with loud announcements or dramatic signs. Often my greatest works begin like the sunrise. The darkness does not disappear all at once. Little by little, light fills the horizon until what was once hidden becomes clearly visible. In the same way, I am bringing light into places where fear once ruled your thoughts. I am replacing uncertainty with confidence, weariness with renewed strength, and discouragement with hope that cannot easily be shaken. You have spent enough time believing that your best days are behind you. That is not the story I am writing. I am not limited by what has happened in your past. I am the one who brings life where others see only emptiness. I restore what seems beyond repair. I open paths where none appear to exist. The disappointments that once convinced you to lower your expectations will no longer define your future. My promises are stronger than your memories, and my plans are greater than your fears. My faithful servant, Archangel Michael, continues to carry out every assignment I give according to my perfect will, watching over the path I have established for you. But remember, my beloved, the greatest miracle is not only that I protect your steps, it is that I am transforming your heart as you walk them. A protected life without a renewed heart would still be filled with fear. Therefore, I am doing both. I am guarding your journey, while also teaching you to trust me more deeply with each passing day. Perhaps you cannot yet see everything I have prepared, but you do not need complete understanding in order to move forward. Faith does not require that every question be answered before taking the next step. Faith simply takes my hand and walks with me. I already know the destination, and I know exactly what you need along the way. Every lesson you have learned has been preparing you for opportunities you have not yet imagined. Every hardship has strengthened you for responsibilities that are still ahead. Do not allow yesterday's disappointments to become tomorrow's expectations. Leave them behind. They no longer have authority over your future. The fear that once caused you to hesitate is losing its hold upon your heart. The anxiety that once stole your peace is being replaced by the quiet assurance that I remain in control. Even if the road ahead contains challenges, you will not face them as the person you once were. You are becoming stronger, wiser, more compassionate, and more deeply rooted in my love. There will be moments when you are tempted to look back and question whether change is truly happening. In those moments, remember everything I have already shown you. Remember the prayers I have answered, the strength I have provided, and the countless ways I have carried you through seasons that once seemed impossible. Let those memories become the evidence that my faithfulness will continue into the future. Today is a turning point not because your circumstances have suddenly become perfect, but because your trust is becoming stronger than your fear. Your hope is becoming greater than your doubt. Your peace is becoming deeper than your anxiety. As you continue walking with me, you will begin to notice doors opening that once remained closed, opportunities appearing where there was once only uncertainty, and joy returning to places that sorrow tried to claim forever. This is the work of my loving hands, and I will bring it to completion in my perfect time. As this new season begins in your heart, I also want to speak to those whom I have stirred to help carry this message of hope to others. If my words have brought light into your life today, then let that light continue reaching souls who are still waiting in darkness. I say to you, the seed you place into my work will become a harvest far beyond what your eyes can measure. Just as I declared that the generous sower will reap with joy, let that promise become alive in your own life as you respond in faith. If you feel me prompting your heart, do not ignore that invitation, for I delight in using willing hands to spread my comfort across the earth. Through your YouTube super thanks, your membership, or your PayPal gift through the donation link provided in the video description and the QR code shown with this ministry, you become part of every heart that is strengthened by my word. Do not see your generosity as a simple donation. See it as planting living seeds into ground that will bear eternal fruit. I will remember every act of faith offered with a sincere heart, and I will bless those who give with joy according to my perfect wisdom. Let your generosity become a river through which my hope flows to those who believe they have been forgotten. Do not delay what I have placed upon your heart today. Rise in faith, sow with expectation, and become a willing instrument through whom my light continues to shine. My beloved child, I know how easily your thoughts can travel into tomorrow before today has even come to an end. Your mind begins asking questions that have no answers yet. What if something goes wrong? What if the opportunity disappears? What if the people you love face hardship? What if you are not strong enough for what lies ahead? These questions can become so loud that they steal the peace I intended for this very moment. That is why I gently call you back to me. Return your thoughts to my presence, where fear loses its power and trust begins to grow. Tomorrow has never been outside my hands. Before the sun rises on a new day, I am already there. Before you take your first breath each morning, I have already prepared the grace you will need. You often worry because you are trying to solve problems that have not yet arrived. But I have never asked you to carry tomorrow's burdens with today's strength. I give you what you need for each day as it comes, just as the morning brings fresh light after every night. Think about the birds that greet the dawn with their songs. They do not store away enough music for an entire lifetime. Each morning they simply lift their voices because I have faithfully cared for them again. Look at the flowers that bloom in the fields. They do not struggle to force themselves open before the proper season arrives. They simply receive the sunlight, the rain, and the care I provide. If I lovingly watch over the smallest details of my creation, how much more will I care for you, my beloved child, whom I formed with purpose and called by love? There have been many tomorrows that once frightened you. You remember lying awake at night, imagining the worst possible outcomes. Yet when those days finally arrived, many of the fears you carried never happened at all. And even when difficult moments did come, I gave you strength you did not know you possessed. You discovered that my grace met you exactly where you needed it. The same will be true for the days still ahead. The strength you need for tomorrow will be waiting for you when tomorrow becomes today. My faithful servant, Archangel Michael, continues to fulfill every assignment I give according to my perfect will, guarding the path I have prepared before you. But my child, your greatest security does not come from knowing every detail of the future. It comes from knowing the one who already holds the future. My authority reaches beyond time itself. Nothing surprises me. No event catches me unprepared. No obstacle appears without my knowledge. Therefore, you can rest, not because you know what tomorrow contains, but because you know who walks before you. Imagine a child traveling with a loving father through unfamiliar countryside. The child may not recognize the roads, the landmarks, or the destination. There are moments when the path curves around hills, disappears into forests, or stretches across open valleys. The child could become anxious about every turn, but instead, the child simply holds the father's hand. Why? Because the child trusts the one who knows the way. My beloved, this is how I invite you to walk with me. You do not need a map of every future event when you are holding the hand of the one who never loses his way. I know that some of your worries are deeply personal. You wonder about your family. You think about your health, your finances, your calling, and the dreams you have placed before me. You ask whether everything will work out according to my purpose. Hear my heart today. I care about every concern you carry. Nothing is too small for my attention. The prayer you whisper while driving to work matters to me. The silent tear that falls before you fall asleep matters to me. The hope you have almost given up on still matters to me. Because you mattered to me. Do not let fear become the author of your imagination. If you continually imagine disaster, your heart will begin living under a burden I never intended you to carry. Instead, fill your thoughts with my faithfulness. Remember how many times I have made a way when there seemed to be none. Recall the doors I opened that no one else could open. Remember the peace I placed within you during seasons that should have overwhelmed you. Those memories are reminders that my character never changes. The enemy wants your attention fixed on uncertainty because uncertainty often gives birth to fear. I want your attention fixed on my promises because my promises give birth to peace. Every promise I have spoken flows from my unchanging love. I do not make promises that I cannot fulfill. I do not offer hope only to withdraw it later. What I have declared remains true, even when the journey seems long. So release tomorrow into my hands. Stop carrying burdens that belong to me. Lay down the endless cycle of worrying about what has not yet happened. Trust that I will provide wisdom when decisions must be made, courage when challenges arise, comfort when sorrow visits, and strength for every step along the way. I have never abandoned you, and I will not begin now. Walk into each new day with quiet confidence. Wake each morning expecting my mercy to meet you again. Face each challenge believing that my grace will be sufficient. Lift your eyes above your fears and place them upon me. The future is not held together by your ability to predict it. The future is held securely in my hands. Therefore, my beloved child, do not fear tomorrow, for I am already there, waiting to guide you with the same faithful love that has carried you every day until now. My beloved child, there have been times when you stood before a closed door and believed it was the end of your journey. You prayed, hoped, and worked with all your heart, only to watch an opportunity disappear before your eyes. You questioned yourself. You questioned the timing. At moments, you even questioned whether I had heard your prayers at all. But today I want you to see those closed doors through my eyes instead of your own. What felt like rejection was often my protection. What appeared to be an ending was frequently the beginning of a better path that you could not yet see. You are living in a season where I am quietly preparing new opportunities for you. They may not look exactly like the ones you imagined. They may arrive through unexpected people, surprising circumstances, or directions you never considered. My ways are often different from your expectations because my vision reaches far beyond the limits of human understanding. I do not simply give you what you ask for. I lovingly prepare what will truly accomplish my purpose in your life. There were doors you desperately wanted me to open years ago. Had I done so, you would have stepped into places before your heart was ready. you would have carried responsibilities that your spirit had not yet been strengthened to bear. Looking back now, you can begin to recognize how my delays became part of my mercy. The waiting shaped your character. The disappointments deepened your compassion. The uncertainty taught you to depend upon me instead of your own understanding. My beloved, I never close one door simply to leave you standing in an empty hallway forever. Whenever I close a path according to my wisdom, I am already preparing another. Sometimes the new door requires you to leave behind familiar surroundings. Sometimes it asks you to trust me more deeply than before. Sometimes it calls you to release old expectations so that you can receive greater blessings. Do not fear those moments of transition. I walk before you through every change. My faithful servant, Archangel Michael, continues to fulfill every assignment I give according to my perfect will, watching over the journey I have established for you. Yet even as my protection surrounds your path, my wisdom is also arranging circumstances beyond what you can presently observe. People are being prepared. Hearts are being softened. Opportunities are moving into place. The timing of events is unfolding according to my perfect design. What appears delayed from your perspective is often being carefully aligned by my hands. Imagine a skilled builder constructing a beautiful home. Before the walls rise, the foundation must first be laid with great care. The builder does not rush the process simply because those watching become impatient. If the foundation is weak, the entire structure will eventually suffer. But when the foundation is solid, the home can withstand storms for many years. In the same way, I have been building your life upon a firm foundation. Every lesson, every challenge, every season of waiting has been strengthening what cannot yet be seen. The blessings I have prepared for you require a heart that has learned to trust me. You sometimes compare your journey with the lives of others. You wonder why their doors seem to open while yours remain closed. My beloved, do not measure my plan for you against the path I have prepared for someone else. Every life unfolds according to my unique purpose. Just as no two flowers bloom at exactly the same moment, neither do my children walk identical paths. What I am preparing for you cannot be measured by another person's timeline. I know that waiting can become discouraging. There are mornings when you ask, how much longer? There are evenings when you wonder if your dreams have quietly faded away. But I tell you, do not allow impatience to steal the hope that I have planted within you. The seed beneath the soil may appear lifeless to the eye, yet life is already stirring beneath the surface. Roots are stretching. Strength is developing. Growth is taking place in hidden places long before the first signs become visible above the ground. There will come a moment when the door I have prepared begins to open, and you will recognize that my timing was never late. You will see connections you could not previously understand. You will look back upon the disappointments that once caused you grief and realize that each one gently redirected your steps toward something far better than you had imagined. What once seemed like loss will reveal itself as guidance. What once appeared to be failure will become part of the testimony of my faithfulness. Do not be afraid to step through the new doors I placed before you. Fear often tries to convince you to remain where everything feels familiar, even if familiar means remaining in places where you have stopped growing. But I did not create you merely to remain comfortable. I created you to walk in the fullness of the purpose I have lovingly prepared for your life. Every new season invites deeper trust, greater wisdom, and stronger faith. Keep your heart open to my leading. Listen carefully for my voice above the noise of doubt and distraction. Be willing to release what no longer belongs in your life so that your hands are free to receive what I am placing before you. The future I have prepared is not built upon fear but upon hope. It is not shaped by regret but by redemption. It is not limited by your past but inspired by my everlasting love. So walk forward with confidence, my beloved child. Do not stand endlessly before doors that I have already closed. Lift your eyes instead toward the path I am revealing. My protection goes before you. My wisdom surrounds you. My love remains your constant guide. The doors I open cannot be permanently shut by the hands of others, and the blessings I have prepared will arrive at exactly the right time. Trust me, for I am leading you into a future filled with purpose, peace, and the quiet joy of discovering that my plans have always been greater than your greatest hopes. My beloved child, I know there have been seasons when it seemed as though every step forward was met with another obstacle. Just as hope began to rise within you, another challenge appeared. Just as peace settled over your heart, another worry tried to steal it away. There were moments when you wondered if the hardships surrounding you would ever come to an end. You questioned why opposition seemed so persistent, and you quietly asked whether the darkness around you was becoming stronger than the light within you. Today I want you to hear my voice above every fearful thought. What hath been sent to discourage you will not determine your future. What was meant to harm you will not prevail over the purpose I have spoken for your life. The world around you is filled with uncertainty, but my authority has never been uncertain. I remain seated above every circumstance that troubles your heart. I see every conversation before it happens. I know every decision before it is made. I understand every hidden motive that escapes human eyes. Nothing catches me by surprise. Nothing arrives outside my knowledge. Because I know the end from the beginning, I am never shaken by the events that seem overwhelming to you. There have been people whose words wounded you more deeply than they ever realized. There have been moments when misunderstandings, betrayal, or unfair treatment left scars upon your heart. You wonder why I allowed those painful experiences to touch your life. My beloved, I never delight in your pain, but I have the power to transform what others intended for harm into something that strengthens your character and reveals my faithfulness. The wound was real, but it will not have the final word. My healing will speak louder than the hurt you endured. My faithful servant, Archangel Michael, continues to fulfill every assignment I have given according to my perfect will, standing where I have appointed him and carrying out my purposes with unwavering obedience. Yet remember that every act of protection begins with my command. My power surrounds you not because the world is free from danger, but because my love is greater than every force that rises against you. You are never beyond the reach of my care. Imagine a mighty river flowing steadily toward the sea. Along its path, large stones appear. Fallen trees block portions of its course, and rough ground attempts to slow its movement. Yet the river does not abandon its destination. It moves around every obstacle, patiently finding another way forward until it reaches the place prepared for it. So it is with my purpose for your life. There will be obstacles. There will be delays. There will be moments when the way forward seems hidden. But my purpose continues flowing. No obstacle is greater than my wisdom. No barrier is stronger than my power. What I have begun in your life, I will faithfully continue. Do not give your fears more attention than you give my promises. Fear grows when it is constantly fed by anxious thoughts. Faith grows when it is nourished by remembering my goodness. Every day you have another opportunity to decide which voice will shape your heart. Will you believe the whispers that predict defeat, or will you trust the one who has carried you through every season until now? My beloved, choose to remember my faithfulness. Let it become the foundation beneath every decision you make. There are battles taking place that you cannot fully see. Somewhere within your own heart as doubt wrestles with hope. Others unfold in circumstances beyond your understanding. Yet you do not need to understand every battle in order to trust the one who already holds the victory. I have never asked you to carry the weight of controlling everything around you. I have simply invited you to remain close to me. As you stay near my heart, I will provide the wisdom, courage, and peace you need for each step. The enemy hopes that repeated discouragement will eventually convince you to stop believing. He wants you to interpret every delay as rejection and every hardship as proof that my promises have failed. But look back over your life. How many times did you think there was no way forward, only to discover that I had already prepared one? How many nights did you believe your strength was gone forever, only to awaken with enough grace to continue? Those moments were not accidents. They were reminders that my faithfulness has never depended upon your circumstances. Even now, I am working in places you cannot yet see. Hearts are changing. Situations are shifting. Doors are being prepared. Answers are drawing nearer than you realize. While you have been focused on visible problems, I have been quietly arranging unseen solutions. My work often begins long before human eyes recognize it. Just as roots grow beneath the surface before a tree reaches toward the sky, my plans are taking shape beneath the surface of your present circumstances. Do not become weary because the journey has required patience. Every step hath been preparing you to receive what I have promised with greater wisdom and deeper gratitude. If everything had happened according to your own timetable, you would have missed many of the lessons that are now strengthening your spirit. You are becoming more compassionate because of what you have endured. You are becoming more steadfast because of what you have overcome. You are becoming more dependent upon me, and that is producing a peace the world cannot give. Lift your head, my beloved child. Refuse to let discouragement define this chapter of your life. Stand upon my promises even when your emotions fluctuate. Remember that I remain your refuge, your strength, and your unfailing source of hope. The plans formed against your peace will not have the final word. The disappointments of yesterday will not determine the victories of tomorrow. I am still guiding your steps. I am still surrounding you with my protection. I am still working all things together according to my perfect purpose. Therefore, walk forward with confidence, knowing that what was meant to harm you will never overcome the love, the wisdom, and the sovereign plan that I have established for your life. My beloved child, I know there have been many times when you searched for peace in places that could never truly provide it. You hoped that if your circumstances improved, your heart would finally become still. You believed that if every problem were solved, every relationship restored, every bill paid, and every question answered, then you would finally experience lasting rest. Yet even when some of those things changed, you discovered that true peace cannot be built upon changing circumstances. The peace you long for comes from me alone, and it is a gift that reaches far deeper than the world can ever offer. My peace does not depend on perfect days. It remains with you even when storms surround your life. It does not disappear because unexpected news arrives or because tomorrow remains uncertain. My peace is the quiet confidence that grows within your heart when you remember that I remain seated upon the throne, unshaken by everything that causes you concern. It is the steady assurance that I have not lost control, even when life feels beyond your understanding. There have been moments when your mind became crowded with anxious thoughts. One concern led to another until your heart felt overwhelmed. You tried to carry every responsibility at once. You replayed conversations that had already ended. You imagined problems that had not yet happened. Before long, your soul became exhausted, not only from what was real but from everything fear had persuaded you to imagine. My beloved, I never intended for your mind to become a place where anxiety builds its home. I created your heart to become a dwelling place for my peace. My faithful servant, Archangel Michael, continues to fulfill every assignment I have entrusted to him according to my perfect will, watching over the path I have prepared before you. Yet even as I guard your outward journey, I am doing something equally important within you. I am teaching your heart to remain calm even when the world around you becomes unsettled. A life surrounded by my protection is also meant to be filled with my peace. Think of a deep lake resting beneath towering mountains. On windy days, the surface may ripple with movement, but far below, the water remains calm and undisturbed. In the same way, there may be moments when circumstances create waves around your life. Challenges may arise. Unexpected change may come. But beneath the surface, I am creating a depth of peace that cannot easily be shaken. As you continue trusting me, your heart will become less controlled by temporary circumstances and more anchored in my eternal presence. You often believe that peace is something you must earn through perfect decisions or flawless faith. But my peace is not a reward for human perfection. It is a gift flowing from my endless love. I do not wait until you have solved every problem before I comfort you. I come to you in the middle of your uncertainty. I sit beside you in the middle of your questions. I wrap my loving presence around you while the answers are still unfolding. This is my way. I strengthen you before the victory arrives so that your confidence rests in me rather than in changing circumstances. The enemy knows that if he cannot steal your faith completely, he will often try to steal your peace instead. He fills your thoughts with endless distractions, constant comparisons, and fears about things beyond your control. He hopes that if your heart remains restless, you will overlook my quiet voice. But my beloved, my voice is never found in panic. It is heard most clearly when you choose to rest in my presence above every other noise. Remember the many times I have already given you peace in situations that should have overwhelmed you. There were moments when others wondered how you remained calm through difficult seasons. They saw the outward circumstances but could not explain the quiet strength within you. That strength was not produced by your own ability. It was my peace gently holding your heart together when everything else seemed uncertain. I have done it before, and I will continue to do it again. There is a difference between escaping a storm and learning to stand within it. I do not always remove every challenge immediately because there are lessons that only trust can teach. As you continue walking with me, you will discover that my peace is not fragile. It grows stronger every time you choose faith instead of fear. It becomes deeper every time you surrender another burden into my hands. It becomes more constant every time you remember that I am with you regardless of what the day may bring. Do not allow the pace of the world to dictate the rhythm of your heart. Others may hurry from one worry to another, but you are called to walk differently. Pause often in my presence. Speak with me throughout your day. Bring every concern into my hands instead of carrying it alone. Let gratitude become the language of your heart even before every prayer has been answered. Gratitude opens your eyes to the countless ways I am already caring for you. My beloved child, you are stronger than you realize because my peace is quietly strengthening you from within. Every time you choose trust over worry, another foundation stone is laid beneath your soul. Every time you release control into my hands, another burden is lifted from your shoulders. You are not becoming strong because life has become easy. You are becoming strong because my presence is teaching you to remain steady in every season. So rest now in the assurance of my love. Let your breathing slow as you remember that I am near. Let your anxious thoughts surrender to my promises. Let your weary heart find comfort in my unfailing care. I am holding tomorrow just as securely as I hold today. I am watching over you with endless compassion. My peace is no longer something you are merely searching for. It is becoming the very strength by which you live. because my presence remains with you now and forever. My beloved child, there are times when the path before you seems so uncertain that you hesitate to take even one more step. You stand at the edge of a decision, looking for absolute certainty before you move forward. You ask me to reveal every detail, every turn, every answer, hoping that complete understanding will remove every fear from your heart. But I tell you gently that if you could see the entire journey at once, you would never learn the beauty of trusting me one step at a time. From the beginning, I have never led my children by showing them the entire road all at once. I have always invited them to walk with me daily. Each step becomes an opportunity to know my heart more deeply. Each moment of uncertainty becomes another chance to discover that my faithfulness does not depend upon your ability to predict the future. It depends upon my unchanging character, and my character has never failed. There have been seasons when you believed you had lost your way. Plans changed unexpectedly. Opportunities disappeared. A direction you once thought was certain suddenly became unclear. You wondered whether you had made a wrong decision or somehow wandered beyond my guidance. My beloved, listen carefully to my voice. There is no place where my love cannot find you. Even when you make mistakes, I remain able to guide your steps. My wisdom is greater than your failures, and my mercy is deeper than your regrets. Nothing surprises me, and nothing prevents me from leading you back onto the path I have prepared. My faithful servant, Archangel Michael, continues to fulfill every assignment I have given according to my perfect will, watching over the road before you. Yet my greatest desire is not only that your feet remain protected, but that your heart learns to trust the one who leads you. Protection without trust produces constant anxiety. But when trust grows within you, even unfamiliar roads become places where peace can flourish because you know I am walking beside you. Imagine a traveler climbing a mountain before sunrise. The sky is still dark, and only a small lantern lights the way. The traveler wishes the lantern would illuminate the entire mountain at once, but it only reveals the next few steps. At first, it seems frustrating. Yet if the light stretched all the way to the summit, the traveler might become overwhelmed by the distance. Instead, the lantern faithfully provides enough light for the next step, then the next, and then the next again. In the same way, my guidance often comes one step at a time. I give you enough light for today's obedience, because I know that today's faithfulness prepares you for tomorrow's blessing. Do not mistake my gradual guidance for hesitation. I am never uncertain about where I am leading you. Every delay, every pause, and every unexpected turn hath purpose. There are lessons that can only be learned along winding roads. There are blessings that can only be received after patience has shaped your character. If I hurried every season, you might arrive at your destination without becoming the person I lovingly created you to be. You often pray for me to change your circumstances, while I am quietly transforming your heart. You ask me to remove every obstacle, while I am teaching you perseverance. You ask for immediate answers, while I am cultivating wisdom that will serve you for years to come. Understand this, my beloved. The greatest gift I can give you is not always a quicker journey. Sometimes it is a deeper relationship with me that will sustain you through every journey you will ever walk. There will be voices around you offering many directions. Some will encourage you to follow fear. Others will urge you to chase recognition, comfort, or success without seeking my wisdom. The world often measures the value of a path by how quickly it leads to visible results. But I measure it by whether it leads your heart closer to me. A slower path walked with my presence is far better than a faster road that draws you away from my purpose. When uncertainty rises, return to what you already know to be true. You know that I have been faithful in your past. You know that I have carried you through seasons you once believed impossible. You know that I have answered prayers in ways that revealed my perfect timing. Let those truths become the foundation beneath your feet. Faith is not built upon having every answer. Faith is built upon knowing the one who already holds every answer. There may be moments ahead when you cannot immediately understand why I ask you to wait, to forgive, to let go, or to begin again. In those moments, remember that I never ask anything of you without preparing something greater through your obedience. My instructions are not burdens designed to limit your joy. They are expressions of my love, guiding you toward a future where peace, purpose, and hope can flourish. Do not become discouraged if the journey feels longer than you expected. A beautiful tapestry is not woven in a single day. Every thread has its place. Every color contributes to the finished design. Though you may only see one small section at a time, I see the completed masterpiece from beginning to end. The path you are walking today is one thread within that greater design, and it has meaning even when you cannot yet recognize it. So take the next step with confidence, my beloved child. You do not need to carry the burden of knowing everything that lies ahead. You only need to trust the one who has already gone before you. My love will guide you when the road is unfamiliar. My wisdom will direct you when choices seem difficult. My peace will steady your heart when uncertainty whispers its doubts. Continue walking with me, for every step taken in faith is bringing you closer to the beautiful purpose I have prepared since before you ever began this journey. My beloved child, I know that waiting has often been one of the hardest parts of your journey. You have prayed with hope, expected an answer, and then watched the days become weeks, the weeks become months, and sometimes even longer. During those seasons, you wondered whether I had forgotten what I promised. You questioned whether your prayers had somehow been delayed because of something you had done wrong. At times, you looked around and saw others moving ahead while you remained where you were, and your heart quietly asked, "Lord, why am I still waiting?" Today, I want to answer that question with the tenderness of a loving father. Your delay has never meant my absence. It has always carried a purpose that your eyes could not yet fully see. I have never been late. I have never overlooked your life. I have never misplaced one of your prayers. What appears to be delay from your perspective is often careful preparation from mine. I see every detail of your future. I know the people you will meet, the responsibilities you will carry, the blessings you will receive, and the strength you will need. Because I see the complete picture, I sometimes allow you to wait so that everything will come together at the right moment. Think of a skilled farmer preparing a field before planting. He does not scatter seeds upon hard ground simply because he is eager for harvest. He first clears away stones, softens the soil, and patiently prepares the land. To someone watching from a distance, it may appear that nothing important is happening. Yet the unseen preparation is essential for the harvest to flourish. My beloved, I have been preparing the soil of your heart in much the same way. Every lesson you have learned, every challenge you have endured, and every season of waiting has been making room for blessings that require deeper roots than you once possessed. My faithful servant, Archangel Michael, continues to fulfill every assignment I have given according to my perfect will, watching over the path I have established for you. But my protection is not only about preserving you from danger. It is also about preserving the timing of your life. There are moments when I lovingly delay certain opportunities because receiving them too early would place unnecessary burdens upon you. I do not withhold good things from you. I protect the goodness I have prepared until the season is right. You have often measured progress by visible results. You expected growth to look like open doors, immediate answers, or dramatic changes in your circumstances. But some of the greatest progress in your life has taken place where no one could see it. Your compassion has grown through disappointment. Your patience has deepened through waiting. Your faith has become stronger because you continued trusting me without seeing immediate results. These are treasures that cannot be measured by the world's standards, yet they are precious in my sight. There were relationships that required time to mature. There were opportunities that needed the right conditions before they could flourish. There were hearts that had to be changed before certain prayers could be answered. While you waited, I was working in countless places beyond your vision. I was arranging circumstances, opening conversations, closing harmful paths, and preparing blessings that would arrive at exactly the right moment. You saw only the silence. I saw the entire process unfolding according to my wisdom. The enemy often uses waiting to plant seeds of discouragement. He whispers that nothing is changing. He tells you that your prayers are pointless and that your hope hath been misplaced. He wants impatience to grow until it crowds out your trust. But my beloved, do not confuse silence with inactivity. A masterpiece is still being painted even when you have only seen the first few strokes of the brush. A symphony is still being composed even before the final note is written. So it is with your life. I am creating something beautiful that cannot yet be fully understood from where you stand today. Remember the times when you looked back and realized that an unanswered prayer had actually become a hidden blessing. There were things you once wanted so desperately that today you are grateful I did not allow them to happen. At the time, you could not understand my wisdom. Now you can see that my love was protecting you from paths that would not have brought you lasting peace. Let those memories remind you that my heart toward you has always been good. I do not ask you to enjoy every season of waiting, but I do ask you to trust me within it. Continue growing while you wait. Continue serving while you wait. Continue loving, praying, and believing while you wait. Do not place your life on hold until every answer arrives. There is purpose in this very season. There are people to encourage, lessons to learn, and moments of joy to experience even before the next chapter begins. When the time I have appointed arrives, no force on earth will be able to prevent what I have prepared. The door I open will not depend upon human approval. The blessing I release will not be stopped by fear, delay, or opposition. What I have written into your story will come to pass according to my perfect will. Until then, let patience become an act of worship. Let trust become your daily companion. Let hope remain alive within your heart. So do not become weary, my beloved child. Lift your eyes beyond the calendar and beyond the clock. My timing is never careless, and my love is never delayed. Every moment of waiting has been shaping you, strengthening you, and preparing you for what lies ahead. The season you are in today is not a forgotten chapter. It is a sacred part of the beautiful story I am writing, and when you finally see it from my perspective, you will understand that even your delays were filled with purpose. My beloved child, I know that not every prayer you bring before me is about your own life. Many of your deepest cries come from the love you carry for others. You think about your family when you wake in the morning, and they remain in your heart as you fall asleep at night. You have prayed for healing where there had been sickness, for peace where there had been conflict, for restoration where relationships have become strained, and for hope where discouragement has settled. There have been moments when you wondered whether those prayers were making any difference at all. Today I want you to hear my voice with confidence. Your family is not forgotten, and neither are the prayers you have faithfully lifted before me. I know every member of your family by name. I understand the thoughts they have never spoken aloud. I see the burdens they try to hide behind smiles. I know the fears that keep them awake, the disappointments they carry, and the dreams they have quietly placed aside. Nothing about their lives is hidden from me. My love reaches every heart, even when you cannot see the work I am doing within them. There are times when you become discouraged because change seems so slow. You hope for immediate restoration, yet old patterns continue. Conversations remain difficult. Misunderstandings linger. Distance grows where closeness once existed. You begin to wonder whether healing will ever come. My beloved, never mistake slow progress for the absence of my work. Some of the deepest healing takes place quietly, beneath the surface, long before visible change appears. Think of a great oak tree that has stood through countless seasons. It did not become strong in a single year. Long before its branches stretched toward the sky, its roots were growing deep beneath the earth, unseen by everyone around it. In the same way, I often begin restoring hearts in places no human eye can observe. I soften attitudes. I awaken compassion. I remove bitterness little by little. What appears unchanged on the outside may already be transforming within. My faithful servant, Archangel Michael, continues to fulfill every assignment I have given according to my perfect will, watching over those whom I appoint him to protect according to my purposes. Yet remember, my beloved, every act of heavenly protection flows from my everlasting love. My desire is not only to guard your family from harm, but also to draw every heart closer to my peace, my wisdom, and my truth. I continue working even when no visible evidence has yet appeared. Do not carry the burden of believing that the future of your family depends entirely upon your own strength. You cannot force another person's heart to change. You cannot control every decision they make. You cannot remove every difficulty they may face. Those responsibilities belong to me. Your calling is to love faithfully, pray sincerely, forgive generously, and trust me completely. Release the weight of trying to accomplish through worry what only my grace can accomplish through love. There may be family members who have wandered far from the path you hoped they would walk. Perhaps their choices have brought sorrow to your heart. Perhaps you have watched them struggle, and you wished you could rescue them from every mistake. I understand that pain because my heart is filled with perfect love. Yet remember this: I pursue those who wander with patience that never grows weary. I continue knocking upon hearts long after others have given up hope. Never underestimate what I can accomplish in a single surrendered moment. There are also wounds within families that have remained open for many years. Words spoken in anger, trust broken through disappointment, misunderstandings left unresolved, and silence that has lasted far too long. My beloved, I specialize in restoring what seems impossible to heal. I can create conversations where silence once lived. I can plant compassion where resentment once grew. I can rebuild trust one faithful step at a time. Nothing is too broken for my restoring hands. As you pray for your loved ones, do not allow fear to become the foundation of your prayers. Pray with hope. Pray with expectation. Pray while remembering my faithfulness rather than your worries. Speak blessings over those you love instead of continually imagining the worst. The enemy delights in convincing you that nothing will ever change. I invite you instead to believe that my grace is already at work in ways you cannot yet fully understand. Remember how many times I have surprised you before. There were situations that seemed impossible until suddenly the way forward became clear. There were prayers you almost stopped praying because hope had grown weak, yet I answered them in my perfect timing. Let those memories strengthen your confidence today. If I have remained faithful before, will I not continue being faithful now? Do not become discouraged if your family does not immediately resemble the picture you carry in your heart. Growth takes time. Healing takes patience. Restoration often unfolds one conversation, one act of kindness, one prayer, and one surrendered heart at a time. Continue trusting me through the process. Continue choosing love even when it is difficult. Continue believing that my purposes extend far beyond what your eyes presently see. My beloved child, I have placed love within your heart for a reason. Let that love become a reflection of mine. Speak words that build rather than tear down. Offer forgiveness where bitterness seeks to remain. Extend compassion where judgment would be easier. As you do these things, you become a vessel through which my peace flows into your home. Rest now in this assurance. The names you whisper in prayer are not forgotten in heaven. The tears you have shed for your family have been seen by me. The hopes you continue carrying are precious in my sight. I am working even when you cannot see it. I am healing even when the process feels slow. I am guiding even when the path appears uncertain. Trust me with those you love, for I love them even more deeply than you do, and my faithful care will continue surrounding them according to my perfect wisdom and everlasting purpose. My beloved child, I see how tired you have become, not only in your body, but deep within your spirit. There are burdens you have carried for so long that you have almost forgotten what it feels like to walk without them. You have become accustomed to the weight of worry, the pressure of responsibility, and the endless effort of trying to hold everything together. Others may see your smile and believe you are strong, but I see the places where your heart quietly cries for rest. I have never asked you to carry every burden alone. I have always invited you to place them into my hands. You have spent many nights trying to solve tomorrow before it arrives. You have replayed conversations that cannot be changed and imagined outcomes that have not yet happened. You have carried the pain of yesterday while fearing the uncertainty of tomorrow, leaving little room to experience the peace I have prepared for today. My beloved, this is not the life I desire for you. I did not create you to live beneath constant pressure. I created you to live beneath the shelter of my love. There is a difference between responsibility and burden. I have given you responsibilities that help you grow, serve, and love others. But many of the burdens you carry were never placed upon you by me. You have accepted guilt that does not belong to you. You have taken responsibility for decisions made by others. You have believed that if you worried enough, somehow you could prevent every hardship from touching the people you love. But worry has never possessed the power to change the future. It only steals the strength I intended for today. My faithful servant, Archangel Michael, continues to fulfill every assignment I have given according to my perfect will, watching over the path I have prepared before you. Yet, my beloved, while I protect your journey outwardly, I also desire to free your heart inwardly. Protection is not only about shielding you from danger, it is also about releasing you from the invisible burdens that slowly drain your joy, your peace, and your confidence in my care. Imagine a traveler walking across a long desert road carrying a large sack filled with stones. At first, the traveler believes each stone is necessary. One stone represents fear. Another represents regret. Another holds unforgiveness. Others are labeled disappointment, shame, anxiety, and the need to control every outcome. With every mile, the load becomes heavier until each step feels almost impossible. Then a loving guide approaches and gently says, "You do not need to carry these any longer. Leave them with me." Yet the traveler hesitates because the weight has become familiar. My beloved child, many of the burdens you carry have become so familiar that you have mistaken them for part of your identity. But they were never meant to remain upon your shoulders. I never intended guilt to become your constant companion. When you sincerely bring your heart before me, I extend mercy instead of condemnation. Learn to receive what I freely offer. Do not continue punishing yourself for mistakes that I have already forgiven. Every time you cling to endless self-condemnation, you are carrying a weight I have already invited you to release. The same is true for fear. You cannot protect your future by living in constant anxiety. You cannot guarantee the safety of your loved ones through endless worry. You cannot control every circumstance by refusing to rest. There are battles that belong only to me. When you attempt to carry them yourself, you become exhausted because you were never designed to bear such weight. Remember the countless times I have already carried you. There were seasons when you believed you would collapse beneath the pressure, yet somehow you continued. It was not because your strength suddenly increased. It was because my grace quietly upheld you. Even when you did not recognize it, I was lifting part of the burden so that you could keep moving forward. How much more peace would fill your heart if you willingly entrusted every burden to me instead of waiting until exhaustion forced you to let go. The enemy delights in convincing you that everything depends upon your effort alone. He tells you that if you stop worrying, you are being careless. He tells you that if you rest, something important will fall apart. But those are not my words. My wisdom is not threatened by your moments of rest. In fact, when you rest in my presence, you make room for my peace to strengthen you in ways constant striving never could. There is freedom waiting for you on the other side of surrender. Surrender is not giving up. It is giving over. It is placing into my hands what has always belonged there. It is trusting that my wisdom exceeds your understanding. It is believing that my love is fully capable of caring for what you cannot control. Every burden you surrender creates space for greater peace. Every fear you release makes room for deeper trust. Every anxious thought placed before me becomes another opportunity to experience my faithfulness. So today, my beloved child, I ask you to loosen your grip. Release the need to have every answer. Release the pressure to fix every problem. Release the guilt that has followed you for too long. Release the fears that keep stealing your joy. Let my hands carry what your shoulders were never designed to bear. Walk with me in freedom. Let each step remind you that you are no longer traveling alone. My love goes before you. My wisdom walks beside you. My strength surrounds you. My peace fills every place where worry once lived. You do not have to earn this rest. It is my gift to you. Come closer to me now. Lay every hidden burden at my feet. Leave every heavy stone in my care. As you do, you will discover that the journey ahead becomes lighter, not because every challenge disappears, but because you are no longer carrying them by yourself. I am your loving Father, and I will always be strong enough to hold what has been too heavy for you. My beloved child, there have been moments when the darkness around you seemed so overwhelming that you wondered whether the light would ever return. You looked at the circumstances surrounding your life and questioned whether hope had quietly slipped away. There were nights when fear felt louder than faith, when sorrow seemed stronger than joy, and when uncertainty appeared to stretch farther than your eyes could see. Yet even in those moments, my light never stopped shining. It may have seemed hidden behind the clouds of your emotions, but it was never extinguished. My light has always remained with you, and it always will. Darkness often tries to convince you that it is permanent. It whispers that your present struggle will become your lifelong reality. It tells you that because today feels heavy, tomorrow will feel the same. But darkness has always depended upon deception. It has no power to overcome the light I bring. Just as the night cannot prevent the sunrise, no season of difficulty can stop my purpose from unfolding in your life. The dawn always arrives because I have commanded it, and my promises are just as certain. There are places within your heart where shadows have lingered for years. Old disappointments have cast long memories. Regret has sometimes dimmed your confidence. Fear has tried to hide the beauty I have placed within you. But my beloved, I do not simply shine light around you. I shine light within you. I enter the places where pain has hidden. I illuminate the corners of your heart that you have been afraid to examine. Not to expose you to shame, but to bring healing where wounds have remained in silence. My faithful servant, Archangel Michael, continues to fulfill every assignment I have given according to my perfect will, standing watch where I have commanded, and carrying out my purposes with unwavering obedience. Yet every act of protection points back to me, for I alone am the source of all light, all truth, and all victory. The light that surrounds your life is not merely protection from danger. It is the revelation of my presence, reminding you that I have never abandoned you, even in your darkest hour. Imagine entering a vast cave that has remained in darkness for many years. Every corner is hidden, every path uncertain. But the moment a single flame is lit, the darkness begins to retreat. It does not argue with the light. It does not resist it. It simply disappears because darkness has no power where light is present. My beloved child, my presence works in the same way. I do not struggle against darkness. I simply overcome it. Wherever my truth enters, deception loses its hold. Wherever my love is received, fear begins to loosen its grip. Wherever my peace is welcomed, anxiety can no longer reign as it once did. You have sometimes believed that your weaknesses made you less worthy of my love. You thought that because you had moments of doubt or seasons of struggle, my light could not fully shine through your life. But I have never required perfection before pouring out my grace. In fact, I often reveal my strength most clearly through those who know they cannot rely upon themselves alone. Your dependence upon me is not a weakness. It is the doorway through which my strength enters your life. The enemy would like you to spend your days staring at every shadow, every mistake, and every fear. He hopes that if your attention remains fixed on darkness, you will forget that my light has already overcome it. But I invite you to lift your eyes. Look beyond the temporary struggles surrounding you. Remember every time I have already brought you through impossible situations. Remember the mornings that followed sleepless nights. Remember the peace that arrived after seasons of sorrow. Those moments were not accidents. They were evidence that my light has always been leading you forward. Do not be afraid when you cannot immediately see the next step. A traveler walking beneath the stars does not possess the brightness of midday, yet there is still enough light to continue the journey. In the same way, I often give you exactly the light you need for the present moment. I ask you to trust me with the next step rather than demanding to see the entire road ahead. As you continue walking with me, more light will come. More understanding will follow. More peace will grow within your heart. There are people around you who desperately need the light I have placed within you. They may never read the words of Scripture for themselves, but they will notice your kindness. They will remember your patience. They will be encouraged by the peace you carry during difficult seasons. When you allow my light to shine through your actions, you become a living testimony that hope still exists in a weary world. Never underestimate how powerfully I can work through a heart that simply remains close to me. So do not surrender to discouragement, my beloved child. Refuse to believe the lie that darkness has the final word. It never has, and it never will. My truth is stronger than every deception. My love is greater than every fear. My peace is deeper than every anxiety. My joy reaches farther than every sorrow. The light I have placed within you is not fragile because it comes from me, and nothing in all creation can extinguish what I have ignited by my own hand. Walk forward with confidence. Let your heart rest in the certainty that my presence surrounds you every moment of every day. When shadows appear, remember that I am your light. When fear whispers, remember that I am your refuge. When uncertainty rises, remember that I am your faithful guide. My light is greater than every darkness, and because you walk with me, no night will ever be able to separate you from the hope, peace, and everlasting love that I have prepared for you. My beloved child, I know there have been seasons when you found it difficult to expect good things. After experiencing disappointment more than once, your heart slowly learned to protect itself by expecting less. You told yourself that if you did not hope too much, you would not be hurt as deeply. Without realizing it, you began to settle for merely surviving instead of believing that I am still able to surprise you with my goodness. Today I want to awaken your heart once again. Do not allow yesterday's disappointments to become the boundaries of tomorrow's expectations. I am still the God who does more than you can presently imagine. There are blessings I have prepared that have not yet entered your thoughts. There are moments of joy that are already moving toward you according to my perfect timing. There are answers taking shape that you cannot yet see because they are still unfolding beneath the surface of your present circumstances. While you have been focused on what seems delayed, I have been quietly arranging what is coming next. My hands have never been idle. My love has never stopped working on your behalf. You often expect my blessings to arrive in familiar ways. You look toward one opportunity, one person, or one solution, believing that is the only path through which I can answer your prayers. But my wisdom is far greater than the limits of human expectation. I delight in opening doors where none appeared to exist. I enjoy bringing hope through unexpected conversations, unexpected opportunities, and unexpected moments that reveal my faithfulness in ways you could never have planned yourself. My faithful servant, Archangel Michael, continues to fulfill every assignment I have given according to my perfect will, watching over the journey I have prepared for you. Yet, my beloved, my protection is not merely about preserving you through difficult seasons. It is also about guiding you safely toward the blessings I have lovingly prepared. Every step I have asked you to take has been leading you closer to moments that will remind you once again of my goodness. Imagine a child walking through a beautiful garden with a loving father. The child becomes fascinated by one small flower growing beside the path and cannot imagine anything more beautiful. But the father smiles because he knows that around the next bend lies an entire field filled with flowers beyond anything the child has yet seen. The child is disappointed when asked to leave the single flower behind, not realizing that something far greater is waiting just ahead. My beloved child, there have been moments when you grieved over what you thought you had lost, while I was gently leading you toward blessings that would exceed everything you left behind. Do not allow impatience to rob you of joyful expectation. Waiting is not wasted when it is spent trusting me. Every season has been preparing your heart to receive my gifts with greater wisdom, deeper gratitude, and stronger faith. If I had given you everything the moment you asked, you might have appreciated the blessing but missed the transformation that waiting was producing within your soul. I desire not only to bless your hands, but also to strengthen your heart. There are people I am bringing into your life who will encourage you in ways you have long needed. There are opportunities that will allow the gifts I have placed within you to flourish. There are moments of healing that will quietly restore places where sorrow has lingered. There are answers that will arrive at precisely the right time, revealing that I was working all along, even when you believed heaven had become silent. The enemy would like you to live with closed expectations. He hopes you will stop believing for goodness because disappointment has visited you before. He wants your prayers to become smaller, your hope to become weaker, and your vision to become clouded by fear. But I call you to lift your eyes once again. Remember who I am. I have never been limited by human circumstances. I have never been restricted by earthly obstacles. What seems impossible to others remains fully possible within my perfect will. Think about how many blessings you already enjoy today that were once only prayers whispered through tears. There were seasons when you begged for strength, and now you possess endurance you never imagined possible. There were times when you cried for peace, and now my calm presence steadies your heart. There were moments when you believed you would never smile again, yet I gently restored joy to your life. If I have faithfully carried you this far, why would you believe that my goodness has come to an end? I want you to begin expecting my faithfulness again, not with anxious striving or demanding timelines, but with quiet confidence. Wake each morning believing that I am already at work. Walk through each day with eyes open to the countless ways I reveal my love. Some blessings will arrive in ways so gentle that you may almost overlook them. Others will come with joyful surprise, but every good gift will reflect my loving heart toward you. Do not measure your future by the disappointments of your past. Measure it by the faithfulness of the one who has carried you through every season until now. I have not exhausted my mercy. I have not reached the limit of my generosity. My compassion is renewed every day, and my plans for your life continue unfolding according to my perfect wisdom. So rejoice even before you see the answer. Give thanks even while you continue waiting. Let hope rise again where discouragement once settled. Heaven is not empty. Heaven is active. My purposes are moving. My promises remain alive. My love continues surrounding every step of your journey. The blessings I have prepared are drawing nearer than you realize, and when they arrive, you will understand that every delay, every lesson, and every moment of trust was leading you to this beautiful reminder that my goodness has always been greater than your greatest expectations. My beloved child, there are wounds that time alone cannot heal. People often tell you that enough time will make everything better, but I know there are places within your heart where the pain has lingered despite the passing of many seasons. You have learned to live with certain disappointments. You have hidden some of your deepest hurts so well that even those closest to you do not realize they are still there. But I see them. I have always seen them. I have never looked away from the broken places within you, nor have I grown weary of restoring what has been damaged. My love has remained patiently at work, even in the places where you believed healing had stopped. There were dreams that did not unfold the way you expected. There were people you trusted who walked away. There were words spoken over your life that wounded your confidence. Perhaps there were moments when you questioned your own worth because of how others treated you. My beloved, the actions of others have never determined your value in my eyes. Before anyone ever formed an opinion about you, I already knew you completely, and I loved you completely. Nothing that has happened to you has changed the way I look upon you. Sometimes your heart has become cautious because it remembers what it felt like to be hurt. You hesitate to hope too deeply because you fear another disappointment. You hesitate to trust because trust was once broken. You hesitate to dream because dreams once seemed to slip through your fingers. I understand why you feel this way. I do not condemn your caution. Instead, I gently invite you to let me heal the places where fear has quietly built walls around your heart. My faithful servant, Archangel Michael, continues to fulfill every assignment I have given according to my perfect will, watching over the path I have prepared before you. Yet my greatest desire is not simply that your outward journey remains protected. I also desire your heart to become whole again. A guarded life without a healed heart still carries hidden pain. I long for you to experience both my protection and my restoration. Imagine an old instrument that has not been played for many years. Dust has settled upon it. Some strings have become worn, and its beautiful music has grown silent. To someone passing by, it may appear beyond repair, but when placed into the hands of a skilled craftsman, each string is carefully replaced, every part is restored, and before long the instrument begins producing beautiful music once again. My beloved child, your heart is far more precious than any instrument. The disappointments you have experienced may have silenced songs of joy for a season, but I am the master restorer. I know exactly how to mend what has been damaged, strengthen what has become weak, and awaken hope where silence once remained. Do not believe that your best days are behind you simply because you have experienced heartbreak. Your story is not ending in sorrow. Every chapter of pain has been held within my loving hands, and I am able to bring beauty from places that once seemed beyond healing. What others intended to leave broken, I am able to rebuild. What circumstances tried to steal, I am able to restore in ways that reveal my goodness. There are moments when healing feels slow because I am restoring more than your emotions. I am renewing the way you see yourself. I am replacing lies with truth. I am teaching you to view your life through my eyes instead of through the lens of past disappointments. Every time you choose to believe my promises instead of old fears, another part of your heart is strengthened. Every time you receive my forgiveness instead of clinging to guilt, another wound begins to close. Every time you trust me again after being hurt, another stone is removed from the walls surrounding your heart. The enemy wants you to believe that because you have been wounded, you will always remain wounded. He whispers that healing is impossible, that trust can never return, and that joy belongs only to your past. But those whispers are not my voice. I declare that hope is alive. I declare that healing is possible. I declare that joy will rise again because my love has never stopped reaching toward you. Remember how many times I have already restored parts of your life that once seemed beyond repair. There were seasons when you thought your smile had disappeared forever, yet I gently returned it. There were burdens you believed would always define you, yet today they no longer carry the same weight. Those quiet victories are reminders that I am still working. If I have restored you before, I will continue restoring you now. Do not rush the process. The gardener does not become impatient because fruit does not appear the day after planting. Growth unfolds one day at a time. Healing follows a similar path. Some days you will notice great progress. Other days the changes may seem almost invisible. But beneath the surface, my love continues strengthening every part of your heart. Trust what you cannot yet fully see. My beloved child, I want you to begin looking toward the future with expectation instead of fear. The wounds of yesterday are no longer writing the story of tomorrow. My mercy is writing a new chapter. My peace is becoming the foundation beneath your heart. My joy is returning little by little, replacing sorrow with quiet confidence. You are not becoming the person pain tried to shape you into. You are becoming the person my love has always intended you to be. So rest in my presence. Let my healing continue its gentle work. Release the fear that says restoration is impossible. Believe that I am able to do what no human effort could accomplish. Your heart is not forgotten. It is not beyond repair. It is being lovingly restored by my own hands, and the beauty that will emerge from this season will testify to the greatness of my unfailing love for you. My beloved child, there will always be moments in life when the winds become strong. Circumstances will change without warning. Opinions will rise against you. Unexpected challenges will appear on roads that once seemed peaceful. If your confidence is built only upon what is happening around you, every storm will seem powerful enough to shake your heart. But I have been teaching you something far greater. I have been teaching you to stand firm, not because life has become easier, but because your foundation is becoming stronger. There was a time when every unexpected difficulty felt like proof that something had gone wrong. A single disappointment could steal your peace for days. One unanswered prayer could cause you to question everything you believe. But look closely at how far I have already brought you. You still experience moments of uncertainty, yet you no longer remain there as long as you once did. You recover more quickly because you have seen my faithfulness too many times to believe that I will suddenly abandon you now. That is evidence of growth, my beloved. It is evidence that your roots are reaching deeper into my love. Strength is rarely formed in comfortable places. Muscles grow stronger through resistance. Trees develop deeper roots because the wind challenges them to hold firmly to the earth. In the same way, your spirit has been strengthened through seasons you once wished would end immediately. Every challenge has become an opportunity for you to discover another aspect of my faithfulness. Every obstacle has taught you that my strength is greater than your own. What once seemed like a burden has quietly become part of your preparation. My faithful servant, Archangel Michael, continues to fulfill every assignment I have given according to my perfect will, guarding the journey I have prepared for you. Yet my greatest desire extends beyond protecting your path. I also desire to establish within you a heart that remains steady regardless of what surrounds it. A life built upon my truth does not collapse because difficult days arrive. It stands because its foundation rests upon my unchanging character. Imagine a lighthouse standing upon a rocky coastline. Day after day, powerful waves strike against its walls. Fierce storms surround it. Strong winds beat upon it without mercy. Yet the lighthouse continues shining because it was built upon solid rock. The storms reveal the strength of its foundation rather than destroying it. My beloved child, I am building your life in the same way. I have not promised that storms will never come, but I have promised that your foundation in me will remain secure if you continue trusting my voice. There will always be people whose opinions change. Some will misunderstand your intentions. Others may criticize choices that I have asked you to make. If you build your identity upon the approval of people, your peace will rise and fall with every opinion. But when your identity is rooted in my love, you no longer need the constant approval of others to know your worth. I have already called you my beloved child. That truth is not changed by human praise or human criticism. The enemy often attacks through discouragement because he knows that a discouraged heart becomes tempted to quit. He whispers that your efforts are meaningless, that your prayers are accomplishing nothing, and that your waiting has no purpose. But remember how many times those same whispers have been proven wrong. Every season you survived became another testimony of my sustaining grace. Every mountain you crossed became another reminder that I was walking beside you all along. Standing firm does not mean pretending that pain does not exist. It does not require you to hide your tears or deny your emotions. Even now, I welcome your honesty. Bring me your fears, your questions, and your weariness. But do not remain there. After pouring out your heart, rise again with renewed trust. Let my promises become stronger than your emotions. Feelings may change from one day to the next, but my word remains forever. Think about a sailor crossing a vast ocean. If the sailor looked only at the waves, fear would quickly take control. But experienced sailors keep their eyes fixed upon the stars that remain constant above them. The waves rise and fall, but the stars continue guiding them home. In the same way, do not allow the changing circumstances of life to become your only focus. Lift your eyes toward me. I remain constant when everything else appears uncertain. My promises are the stars that guide your heart safely through every storm. I know there are still days when you feel weak. There are mornings when courage seems difficult to find and evenings when weariness settles deeply into your soul. Do not mistake those moments for failure. Even the strongest tree continues drawing nourishment through its roots every single day. In the same way, continue drawing strength from my presence. Spend time with me. Speak with me. Listen for my voice. Every moment spent near me strengthens your heart in ways you may not immediately recognize. The strength I am building within you is not only for your own journey. One day, someone else will be walking through the very valley you have already crossed. They will need encouragement, wisdom, and hope. The peace I have cultivated within you will become a refuge for them. The testimony of my faithfulness in your life will remind them that they, too, can continue trusting me. Nothing you have endured has been wasted. So stand firm, my beloved child. Do not be shaken by temporary circumstances. Do not surrender your peace to passing fears. Let your roots continue growing deeper into my love. Let your confidence rest upon my faithfulness instead of human understanding. I am your solid foundation. I am your constant refuge. I am your unfailing strength. As long as you remain close to me, no storm will ever have the power to separate you from the purpose, peace, and everlasting love that I have prepared for your life. My beloved child, there have been moments when you looked at your life and quietly wondered, why am I here? What purpose could there possibly be in everything I have experienced? You have compared your journey with the lives of others and questioned whether your own path truly matters. Sometimes you have felt overlooked, believing that your efforts were too small, your gifts too ordinary, or your voice too quiet to make any lasting difference. But today I want you to hear my heart clearly. You are not an accident. You are not an afterthought. You were lovingly created with purpose, and you have been placed in this season according to my perfect wisdom. Before you ever took your first breath, I knew the days you would live. I knew the challenges you would face, the victories you would celebrate, the tears you would cry, and the people whose lives you would touch. Nothing about your story has surprised me. Every chapter had been held within my hands. Even the seasons that seemed confusing have become part of a greater purpose that is still unfolding before you. Do not believe the lie that your value depends upon how visible your life appears to others. The world often celebrates what is loud, impressive, and widely recognized. But my kingdom has always grown through quiet faithfulness. A gentle word spoken at the right moment can change a life. A simple act of kindness can restore hope to a weary heart. A faithful prayer offered in secret can accomplish more than you may ever realize. Never underestimate what I can do through a heart that is surrendered to me. My faithful servant, Archangel Michael, continues to fulfill every assignment I have given according to my perfect will, guarding the path I have prepared before you. In the same way that every heavenly servant has a purpose within my plan, so do you. Your purpose is not identical to anyone else's because I have created you uniquely. You do not need to imitate another person's calling in order to fulfill your own. I have entrusted gifts to you that are meant to bless the world in ways only you can. Think of a great orchestra preparing to perform a beautiful symphony. Every instrument has a unique sound. A violin cannot replace a trumpet, and a flute cannot become a cello. If every instrument attempted to sound the same, the beauty of the music would be lost. The harmony exists because each instrument faithfully fulfills the role it was created to play. My beloved child, this is how I have designed my creation. You were never meant to become someone else. I delight in the unique way I formed you. Your personality, your experiences, your compassion, and even the lessons you have learned through hardship all become part of the beautiful song I am writing through your life. Perhaps you have questioned why I allowed certain difficulties to shape your journey. You wondered why others seemed to have easier paths while yours required greater endurance. Understand this. The challenges you have overcome have prepared you to comfort others who will one day face similar struggles. The tears you have cried have deepened your compassion. The waiting you have endured has strengthened your patience. The healing you have received has equipped you to encourage those whose hearts are still broken. Nothing has been wasted. The enemy hopes you will spend your life believing that your purpose is too small to matter. He wants you to compare yourself until gratitude disappears. He wants you to overlook the countless opportunities I place before you each day because they seem ordinary. But my beloved, I often accomplish extraordinary things through ordinary acts of faithfulness. One encouraging conversation, one act of forgiveness, one moment of generosity, one prayer spoken with sincere love. These simple moments often become the seeds from which lasting transformation grows. You not wait until everything feels perfect before embracing the purpose I have given you. You may believe you need greater confidence, more knowledge, or fewer weaknesses before I can truly use your life. But I have always delighted in working through willing hearts rather than perfect people. Your availability to me is far more important than your own idea of perfection. Bring me your gifts, however small they may seem. Bring me your compassion, your faith, and your willingness to serve. I will multiply what you place into my hands. There are people crossing your path today who need the hope that lives within you. They may never know the full story of your journey, yet they will be strengthened by your kindness, encouraged by your peace, and inspired by your quiet trust in me. Every time you reflect my love, you fulfill part of the purpose for which I created you. Never assume that your influence is insignificant simply because it is not widely seen. I see every act of faithfulness, and nothing offered in love is ever forgotten. Remember that your purpose is not measured by how many people know your name. It is measured by how faithfully you walk with me. If your heart remains close to mine, your life will bear fruit in ways you may never fully witness on this side of eternity. Trust that I know exactly where I have placed you. Trust that I know exactly whom your life is meant to bless. So stop questioning whether you belong in this season. Stop believing that you arrived too early or too late. I appointed this moment with perfect wisdom. I have equipped you for the journey before you. I have surrounded you with my love, guided you through my truth, and strengthened you by my presence. Walk confidently into each new day knowing that you are not simply passing through time. You are fulfilling a purpose lovingly prepared by my hands. You were chosen for this season, my beloved child, and as you continue walking with me, you will discover that every step has been leading you toward the beautiful calling I have written upon your life since the very beginning. My beloved child, I know there have been seasons when the storm around you seemed so relentless that you began to believe it had become your identity. You experienced one difficult chapter after another, and before long, you stopped introducing yourself to life through hope. Instead, you quietly began defining yourself by your struggles. You saw yourself as the one who had been hurt, the one who had been disappointed, the one who had endured loss, the one who was constantly fighting to keep moving forward. But today I want to remind you of a truth that has never changed. The storm you have walked through is not your identity. It is only one chapter of your journey. Your identity has always been found in my love. When heavy rain falls upon a mountain, the mountain does not become the storm. It remains what it has always been, standing firmly beneath the changing skies. The storm eventually passes, but the mountain remains. My beloved child, you are not the fears you have faced. You are not the failures you remember. You are not the disappointments that visited your life. Those experiences have touched your journey, but they have never defined who you are. I have already declared your identity. You are my beloved child, and nothing that happens around you can erase what I have spoken over you. There were moments when you felt as though life was stripping away everything familiar. Plans changed unexpectedly. People you trusted left. Doors closed without explanation. Your confidence was shaken, and your heart wondered whether you would ever feel secure again. Yet even while everything around you seemed uncertain, one thing remained unchanged: my love. It did not become smaller because your circumstances became more difficult. It did not disappear because your questions grew louder. It remained constant, surrounding you through every moment of confusion and every step of the journey. My faithful servant, Archangel Michael, continues to fulfill every assignment I have given according to my perfect will, watching over the path I have established for you. But my beloved, my purpose extends beyond protecting you from outward danger. I am also teaching you that your security does not rest in changing circumstances. Your security rests in me. Storms may shake the branches of the tree, but when its roots grow deep into good soil, it continues standing. I have been strengthening your roots in my love so that no passing storm can uproot the life I have planted within you. Imagine a ship crossing a vast sea during a fierce storm. Powerful waves crash against its sides, and strong winds seem determined to push it off course. Yet deep beneath the water, the ocean floor remains unmoved. The surface is turbulent, but the foundation below is steady. In the same way, your emotions may sometimes feel like the waves upon the surface. They rise and fall with changing circumstances. But beneath those emotions, I am establishing a deeper foundation of faith, peace, and trust that cannot be shaken by temporary troubles. Do not become discouraged because you still remember painful seasons. Memories are part of your story, but they are no longer the author of your future. I am writing a new chapter. Every lesson learned through hardship is becoming wisdom. Every tear shed in sorrow is becoming compassion. Every moment you remain faithful through difficulty is becoming strength that will carry you through the days ahead. What once seemed only painful is now becoming part of the testimony of my faithfulness. The enemy wants you to believe that because you have struggled, you will always struggle. He wants your past to become a prison that limits your future. He whispers that nothing will ever truly change, hoping you will surrender your hope before my promises are fulfilled. But my beloved, I have never been limited by your past. I specialize in bringing new beginnings where others see only endings. I create beauty where brokenness once lived. I restore what fear declared was permanently lost. There are people who will one day find hope because they witness how I carried you through your own storm. They will look at your life and realize that peace is possible even after heartbreak. They will see courage where fear once lived. They will recognize that my grace truly is sufficient because it has been made visible through your journey. Never believe that your storm has been meaningless. Every chapter has been preparing you to become a living testimony of my unfailing love. Do not allow today's challenge to determine tomorrow's expectation. The weather changes, but my promises do not. Seasons come and go, but my faithfulness remains forever. If you place your confidence in temporary circumstances, your peace will always rise and fall with them. But if your confidence rests in me, you will discover a stability that the world cannot understand. When another storm appears, remember all the previous ones I have already carried you through. You have survived days you once believed impossible. You have walked through valleys that seemed endless, yet here you are, still held by my love. That is not because you were never weak. It is because I remained your strength. That is not because the journey was easy. It is because my presence never departed from you. So lift your eyes beyond the clouds. The storm is not your identity. The fear is not your identity. The disappointment is not your identity. I have called you by a different name. You are my beloved child, chosen, cherished, protected, and deeply loved. Let the truth become stronger than every painful memory. Let it guide your thoughts more than your fears. Let it shape your future more than your past. Walk forward with quiet confidence. The winds may blow, the rain may fall, and the road may sometimes become difficult, but none of those things have the authority to define who you are. I alone have that authority, and I declare once again that you belong to me. My love is your foundation. My peace is your shelter. My presence is your refuge. Therefore, no storm will ever be able to rewrite the identity that I have lovingly written upon your heart. My beloved child, there are countless voices competing for your attention every day. Some speak through fear. Others speak through disappointment, comparison, or the endless pressure to measure your life against the lives of those around you. The world constantly invites you to focus on what is missing, what is uncertain, and what might go wrong next. If you allow your heart to follow every one of those voices, you will soon find yourself exhausted, confused, and weighed down by burdens I never intended you to carry. That is why I gently call you back again and again with these simple words: keep your eyes on me. Where your attention rests, your heart will eventually follow. If you continually stare at your fears, they will appear larger than they truly are. If you continually dwell upon your disappointments, they will begin to overshadow the blessings already surrounding you. But when you choose to fix your thoughts upon my faithfulness, your perspective begins to change. The mountains may still stand before you, but they no longer seem impossible because you remember the one who created the mountains themselves. Think of a child walking through a crowded place while holding the hand of a loving father. The child may hear unfamiliar noises and see many distractions calling for attention. But as long as the child's eyes remain upon the father, fear begins to fade. The child knows there is no need to understand every detail because the one leading the way already does. My beloved child, this is how I desire you to walk with me. Do not become overwhelmed by everything happening around you. Keep your attention upon my presence, and I will guide each step you take. My faithful servant, Archangel Michael, continues to fulfill every assignment I have given according to my perfect will, watching over the path I have prepared before you. Yet my greatest desire is not merely that you reach your destination safely. I desire that you enjoy the journey by walking closely with me. When your eyes remain fixed upon me, fear loses much of its power. Worry begins to loosen its grip. Peace quietly settles where anxiety once ruled because your confidence is no longer placed in changing circumstances but in my unchanging love. There will always be reasons to become discouraged if you search for them. Every generation has faced uncertainty. Every life encounters seasons of difficulty. Yet there have also always been reasons to hope. Every sunrise reminds you of my faithfulness. Every breath you take is evidence of my sustaining grace. Every act of kindness you witness reflects a small glimpse of the love I continue pouring into the world. The question is not whether hope exists. The question is where you choose to focus your heart. Imagine a traveler crossing a narrow bridge suspended above a rushing river. If the traveler keeps looking down at the water below, fear quickly grows stronger with every step. But if the traveler fixes attention upon the solid ground waiting on the other side, courage begins to replace anxiety. The bridge itself has not changed. The difference lies in where the eyes are focused. My beloved, many of your fears grow because your attention has remained fixed upon the rushing waters instead of upon the one who is faithfully leading you across. I know there are moments when this is not easy. There are days when difficult news seems to arrive one after another. There are seasons when your prayers appear unanswered and your emotions feel unsettled. During those times, the temptation to become consumed by worry becomes very strong. But even then, my invitation remains the same. Bring your attention back to me. Speak with me honestly. Rest in my promises. Remember what I have already done throughout your life. The same God who carried you through yesterday is not changed today. The enemy understands the power of distraction. If he can persuade you to focus only on your problems, he hopes you will forget my promises. If he can fill your thoughts with endless comparisons, he hopes you will overlook the unique purpose I have prepared for your own life. If he can keep your mind racing with fear about tomorrow, he hopes you will miss the peace I am offering you today. Do not allow distraction to steal the joy that my presence freely gives. Instead, train your heart to notice my faithfulness in ordinary moments. See my care in the strength I provide each morning. See my kindness in the people who encourage you. See my mercy in every new opportunity to begin again. See my patience in the countless times I have gently guided you back whenever you wandered. The more you recognize my presence in everyday life, the more naturally your trust will grow. Remember that faith is not built by having every question answered. Faith is built by walking with me one step at a time. Every day you choose to trust me instead of fear, another stone is added to the strong foundation I am building within you. Every moment you return your thoughts to my truth instead of anxious imagination, your heart becomes steadier. Little by little, your life begins reflecting the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you are never walking alone. So, my beloved child, do not allow the noise of the world to become louder than my voice. Do not allow temporary circumstances to determine your lasting peace. Lift your eyes above the confusion. Lift your heart above discouragement. Keep your attention upon me, and you will discover that even when the road becomes difficult, my presence remains your constant guide. I have never stopped leading you. I have never stopped loving you. I have never stopped preparing the way before you. As long as your eyes remain upon me, you will never lose sight of the hope, the peace, and the purpose I have lovingly prepared for your life. Walk forward with confidence, for I am holding your hand, guiding every step, and leading you safely toward the beautiful future that has always rested within my perfect plan. My beloved child, as you have walked with me through every season of this journey, I want you to remember a truth that has quietly surrounded your life from the very beginning. You have never taken a single step outside of my watchful care. There were roads you traveled without knowing what lay ahead. There were decisions you made while your heart searched for wisdom. There were moments when the future seemed hidden behind a veil of uncertainty. Yet through it all, I remained faithful. My eyes never turned away from you, and my loving care never grew weary. There are times when you imagine that because you cannot see what is happening in the spiritual realm, nothing is taking place. But my beloved, heaven is never inactive. My purposes continue unfolding with perfect wisdom. My love continues reaching toward you in ways that human eyes cannot always perceive. What appears to you as an ordinary day is often filled with unseen expressions of my care. The quiet moments, the unexpected protection, the gentle redirections, and the timely encouragements are all reminders that I remain intimately involved in every detail of your life. My faithful servant, Archangel Michael, continues to fulfill every assignment I have given according to my perfect will. He does not act independently, nor does he seek his own glory. He moves in obedience to my command, carrying out the work I entrust to him with unwavering faithfulness. Whenever I appoint him to guard, to strengthen, or to protect according to my purpose, he does so because my authority goes before him. Let this truth bring peace to your heart. The protection surrounding your life is not based upon chance. It flows from my sovereign love and my perfect wisdom. Never allow your heart to become more fascinated with the servant than with the one who sends him. Every heavenly messenger points back to me. Every act of protection reflects my care. Every victory reveals my power. My desire has always been that your trust would rest securely in me. I am your everlasting refuge. I am your constant shelter. I am the source of every blessing that reaches your life. Imagine a king sending his most trusted captain to escort a beloved member of the royal family through dangerous territory. The captain's presence provides reassurance, but the true security comes from the authority of the king who gave the command. The captain acts because the king has spoken. In the same way, my beloved child, every assignment I give in heaven reflects my unchanging commitment to care for you. Nothing takes place outside of my loving authority. You are precious to me, and I never leave your life unattended. There have been moments when you narrowly escaped situations you later realized could have ended very differently. There were unexpected changes in plans, delays that frustrated you, conversations that shifted direction, and paths you never took. At the time, many of those moments appeared insignificant. Yet looking back, you can begin to recognize that my hand was quietly guiding your steps. What you once called coincidence was often my loving protection working in ways too gentle for you to immediately recognize. This does not mean that you will never experience hardship. You already know that life includes seasons of sorrow, waiting, and challenge. But even during those times, my protection remains active. Sometimes I protect you by removing danger. Sometimes I protect you by giving you strength to endure what cannot yet be removed. Sometimes I protect you by transforming your heart through the very trial you wished would disappear. My protection is always shaped by my perfect wisdom rather than my human expectation. The enemy wants you to live in constant fear of what might happen tomorrow. He hopes you will become so consumed by uncertainty that you overlook my faithfulness today. But remember how many times I have already carried you safely through situations you never expected to survive. Remember how many fears never became reality because my hand was already working before you even recognized the danger. Those memories are not accidents. They are invitations to trust me more deeply. There will be days ahead when you once again face decisions that require faith. You may not always know which road will seem easiest. You may not always understand why I lead you in a particular direction. But you can walk forward with confidence because you know the one who guides your steps. You do not need complete knowledge of the future when you are held by my complete knowledge of it. I already stand in every tomorrow that causes you concern. As you continue your journey, do not become distracted by fear or discouraged by temporary setbacks. Keep your heart close to me. Continue seeking my wisdom in every decision. Continue resting in my promises instead of your own understanding. Continue remembering that my love has never failed you. The same care that surrounded you yesterday remains with you today and will continue into every tomorrow I have prepared. My beloved child, you are deeply loved, carefully guided, and faithfully protected. My servant continues fulfilling every assignment I give according to my will, but above every unseen act of protection stands my everlasting presence. It is my voice that calls you forward. It is my hand that upholds you when you become weary. It is my peace that steadies your heart when uncertainty arises. You never walk alone because I have never departed from your side. Therefore, move forward without fear. Walk with quiet confidence. Let your heart rest in the assurance that my love surrounds every step of your journey. Whether the road becomes smooth or difficult, whether the skies are clear or filled with clouds, my care remains constant. I will continue guiding you, protecting you, strengthening you, and leading you toward every purpose I have prepared for your life. And as long as you keep walking with me, you will always discover that my faithful love is greater than every obstacle you will ever face. My beloved child, there have been many times when you wished you could skip certain chapters of your life. If you had been given the choice, you would have avoided the pain, the waiting, the disappointments, and the unanswered questions. You would have chosen a smoother road with fewer tears and less uncertainty. I understand why your heart felt that way. No loving child willingly asks for hardship. Yet I want you to see something that has been quietly unfolding throughout your entire journey. Every chapter you have lived has become part of a greater story that I am writing, and one day that story will bring hope to many hearts. Right now, you often see your life one day at a time. You remember the struggles because they were real. You remember the nights when sleep would not come because worry filled your thoughts. You remember praying through tears, wondering whether anyone truly understood the weight you carried. But I remember those same moments differently. I remember every time my grace quietly strengthened you when your own strength was gone. I remember every step you took even when fear tried to convince you to stop. I remember every prayer whispered in faith, every act of kindness offered despite your own pain, and every decision to trust me when you could not see the outcome. My beloved, your story has never been about perfection. It has always been about my faithfulness. If your life had unfolded without difficulty, you would have had very little to say about my sustaining love. But because I have carried you through valleys, your testimony will speak of my comfort. Because I have strengthened you in weakness, your testimony will speak of my power. Because I have restored what was broken, your testimony will speak of my mercy. The beauty of your story is not found in the absence of struggle. It is found in my presence through every struggle. My faithful servant, Archangel Michael, continues to fulfill every assignment I have given according to my perfect will, watching over the path I have prepared before you. Yet even as I protect your journey, I am also shaping a testimony that will reveal my goodness. Every unseen act of protection, every quiet answer to prayer, every unexpected provision, and every moment of peace in the middle of difficulty becomes another page in the story I am writing through your life. Imagine a master artist standing before a large canvas. At first, only a few colors appear. Some sections seem dark, while others remain unfinished. As someone looking too closely, the painting may seem confusing or incomplete. They may wonder why certain dark colors were ever placed upon the canvas. But the artist sees the finished masterpiece from the beginning. Every color has its purpose. Every brushstroke contributes to the final beauty. My beloved child, your life is like that painting. You are living within the middle of the process, while I already see the completed work. The darker moments have not ruined the masterpiece. They have added depth that will one day reveal my wisdom in ways you cannot yet imagine. There are people you have not even met who will one day need the encouragement your story carries. They will face fears similar to the ones you have already overcome. They will walk through seasons of waiting that remind them of your own journey. They will wonder if hope is still possible, and through your life they will discover that I remain faithful. Your testimony will become a light because it points not to your own strength, but to my unfailing love. Do not underestimate the value of quiet faithfulness. The world often celebrates dramatic victories while overlooking daily obedience. Yet I delight in every small act of trust. Each morning you choose hope instead of despair. Each time you forgive instead of holding bitterness. Each prayer offered with sincerity. Each moment you continue walking with me despite unanswered questions. These are the pages from which lasting testimonies are written. Great stories are rarely formed in a single moment. They are built through countless ordinary acts of faithfulness. The enemy hoped that your hardships would silence your voice. He believed that discouragement would convince you to stop trusting me. You wanted your pain to become the final chapter, but he could not see what I already knew. I was not writing an ending. I was preparing a testimony. Every setback became another opportunity for my grace to shine. Every delay became another reminder that my timing is perfect. Every sorrow became another place where my comfort could be revealed. Even now, your testimony is still being written. Do not believe that the unfinished chapters determine the ending. I have not placed the final period upon your story. There are still blessings ahead. There are still prayers waiting to be answered. There are still doors I will open, hearts I will heal, and joys I will restore. Continue trusting me through every page that remains unwritten. One day, when you look back over this journey, you will not only remember the pain, you will also remember the peace that sustained you. You will remember the strength that appeared when your own strength had failed. You will remember how I carried you through moments you never believed you could survive. Those memories will become songs of gratitude rather than reminders of fear. So walk forward with confidence, my beloved child. Do not become discouraged because every answer has not yet arrived. Trust the author of your life. Trust the one who has never abandoned a single promise. Trust the one who sees the completed masterpiece while you are still living within the process. Your testimony is being written with every faithful step you take. It will declare my goodness, reveal my mercy, and shine as a lasting reminder that my love is stronger than every trial, my grace is greater than every weakness, and my faithfulness endures through every season of your life. My beloved child, you have come so much farther than you realize. There were days when you doubted whether you would even reach this moment. There were nights when your heart felt so heavy that you believed the weight would never lift. Yet here you are. You are still walking. You are still breathing. You are still listening for my voice. That alone is a testimony to my faithfulness. I have carried you through seasons that once seemed impossible, and I will continue carrying you through every season that still lies ahead. Do not allow fear to stand at the doorway of your future any longer. Fear has already taken enough of your peace. It has stolen enough of your sleep. It has caused you to hesitate when I was inviting you to move forward in faith. My beloved, fear has never been a trustworthy guide. It always points toward the worst possibilities while ignoring the certainty of my promises. I am calling you to release its hand and take hold of mine instead. You often believe that courage means never feeling afraid. But courage is something much deeper. Courage is choosing to obey me while your heart is still trembling. Courage is taking the next faithful step even when the destination remains hidden. Courage is believing my voice above every anxious thought that tries to convince you to turn back. Every great journey of faith begins with one simple act of trust, and I have been preparing your heart for that very step. My faithful servant, Archangel Michael, continues to fulfill every assignment I have given according to my perfect will, watching over the road I have prepared before you. Yet remember, my beloved, your confidence does not rest in what you cannot see. Your confidence rests in me. I am the one who directs every heavenly assignment. I am the one who holds your future. I am the one whose love has never failed you. Because I remain faithful, you can continue moving forward without being ruled by fear. Imagine a child learning to ride a bicycle for the first time. At first, every movement feels uncertain. The child worries about falling, about making mistakes, about losing balance. But the loving father runs beside the child, holding firmly until the child gains confidence. Eventually, the father gently lets go, not because he has abandoned the child, but because he knows the child is stronger than the child realizes. Even then, the father remains close, ready to help if needed. My beloved child, There have been many moments when you believed you were standing alone, but I was always beside you. Every lesson, every trial, and every victory has been strengthening your faith so that you can move forward with greater confidence in my presence. There are dreams I have placed within your heart that fear has tried to silence. There are acts of kindness you wanted to offer but hesitated because you wondered how others might respond. There are opportunities you almost ignored because doubt whispered that you were not capable enough. Those whispers have never come from me. I have never measured your future by your limitations. I have always measured it by my power working through your willing heart. The enemy hopes that you will remain standing at the edge of the life I have prepared without ever stepping into it. He wants hesitation to become your habit. He wants you to spend your days wondering what might have happened instead of experiencing the blessings waiting on the other side of obedience. But I did not create you to remain trapped by uncertainty. I created you to walk boldly in the purpose I have lovingly prepared for you. Remember how many times I have already proven my faithfulness. There were doors you never imagined would open, yet they did. There were burdens you thought would always remain, yet I lifted them. There were moments when you believed your strength was gone forever, yet I renewed your spirit and helped you continue. Those memories are not merely part of your past. They are reminders that I will continue doing what I have always done. I will remain faithful because my nature never changes. Do not wait until every fear disappears before taking the next step. If you do, you may wait forever. Instead, bring your fears into my presence and allow my love to become greater than them. Fear shrinks when it stands beside my promises. Doubt loses its voice when it is confronted by my truth. Anxiety begins to loosen its grip when your heart remembers that I have never abandoned you. The road ahead will still contain moments of uncertainty because faith always requires trust. But you no longer walk as the person you once were. I have strengthened you through every chapter of this journey. I have deepened your wisdom. I have restored your hope. I have healed wounds that once controlled your heart. I have taught you to depend upon my voice more than your own understanding. You are not beginning this next season empty-handed. You carry with you the evidence of my faithfulness from every previous season. So lift your head, my beloved child. Straighten your shoulders. Let hope rise once again within your spirit. Stop measuring tomorrow by yesterday's fears. Measure it instead by my everlasting love. Walk with confidence, not because you know every detail of what lies ahead, but because you know the one who walks before you. My light will continue guiding your steps. My peace will continue guarding your heart. My wisdom will continue directing your path. Take the next step without fear. Then take another, and another after that. I will not leave you halfway through the journey. I will remain with you through every mountain, every valley, every sunrise, and every new beginning. Keep your hand in mine, my beloved child, and discover that the future I have prepared is far more beautiful than the fears you have been carrying. Walk forward with courage, for I am already waiting for you in every tomorrow, surrounding you with my love, my protection, and my unfailing grace. My beloved child, as you near the end of this journey with me, I want you to pause and remember everything I have spoken to your heart. Remember that I told you I have never left your side. Remember that I have been protecting you even in ways you could not see. Remember that I have heard every prayer, counted every tear, and remained faithful through every season of your life. None of those promises have changed, and none of them ever will. My words are not temporary comforts meant only for difficult days. They are eternal truths that will continue standing long after every storm has passed. The world around you changes constantly. Seasons come and go. People make promises they cannot always keep. Circumstances shift without warning. One day may bring celebration while the next brings uncertainty. If your hope is built upon those changing things, your heart will never find lasting peace. But my promises are different. They are not shaped by changing circumstances. They are established by my unchanging nature. Because I do not change, the promises flowing from my heart remain secure forever. There were moments when you questioned whether my promises still applied to your life. After experiencing disappointment, you quietly wondered if perhaps they were meant for someone else but not for you. The enemy eagerly encouraged those thoughts. He whispered that your failures had disqualified you, that your waiting had been forgotten, and that your hopes had reached their end. But my beloved child, those whispers have never been my voice. My promises are not sustained by your perfection. They are sustained by my faithfulness. My faithful servant, Archangel Michael, continues to fulfill every assignment I have given according to my perfect will, watching over the path I have prepared for you. Yet every heavenly assignment points back to a greater reality. My covenant of love with you remains unbroken. My care has never depended upon changing emotions or temporary circumstances. It has always rested upon my everlasting commitment to my beloved child. Imagine a great lighthouse standing upon the shore for generation after generation. Countless storms strike against it. Fierce winds howl around it. Waves crash upon the rocks below. Jets come and go. Seasons change. Yet the light continues shining because its purpose never changes. My promises are like that lighthouse. While everything around you may seem uncertain, my truth continues shining with unwavering faithfulness, guiding every heart that chooses to trust me. Look back over your own life. There were prayers I answered in ways you never expected. There were blessings that arrived after seasons of waiting. There were disappointments that eventually revealed hidden acts of my protection. There were painful chapters that became testimonies of my healing. At the time, you could not always understand what I was doing. But now, when you look behind you, you can see the thread of my faithfulness woven through every chapter. If I have remained faithful through every page already written, why would you believe I will fail you in the chapters still to come? The enemy wants you to measure my promises by your present circumstances. If today feels difficult, he whispers that my promises have failed. If answers seem delayed, he claims I have forgotten you. But I invite you to measure your circumstances by my promises instead. Let my truth become the standard through which you interpret every situation. Temporary difficulties cannot erase eternal promises. Delays cannot cancel my plans. Human weakness cannot overcome my strength. You have learned many lessons throughout this journey. You have learned that fear does not have the final word because my peace is greater. You have learned that waiting is never wasted because my timing is perfect. You have learned that wounds can heal because my love restores what has been broken. You have learned that your identity is not found in your struggles but in my everlasting love. These lessons are treasures that will continue guiding you long after this message ends. Carry them with you each day. When new challenges appear, remember my faithfulness. When uncertainty tries to steal your confidence, remember how many times I have already made a way. When loneliness whispers that you have been forgotten, remember that I have never departed from your side. When fear predicts defeat, answer it with the truth that my love has already overcome every darkness. There will still be questions you cannot immediately answer. There will still be moments when you must walk by faith instead of by sight. Yet you no longer walk without hope. You walk with the confidence that the one who began this journey with you will remain faithful until its completion. I have not brought you this far only to abandon you now. Every promise I have spoken remains alive because I remain alive. My beloved child, let these words become deeply rooted within your heart. Return to them whenever discouragement tries to rise again. Let them strengthen you on ordinary days as well as difficult ones. Build your life upon my truth rather than upon changing emotions. Build your future upon my faithfulness rather than upon human certainty. My promises have carried generations before you, and they will continue carrying you through every season that still lies ahead. Walk into the days before you with peace instead of panic, with hope instead of despair, and with faith instead of fear. Lift your eyes toward me whenever your heart grows weary. Remember that I am still your refuge, still your shepherd, still your defender, still your loving Father. I have never failed you, and I never will. My promises remain as certain as my love itself, and because my love is everlasting, my promises will never fail. My beloved child, you have come to the end of this message, but you have not come to the end of my presence. Long after these words become quiet, my voice will continue speaking gently to your heart. Long after this moment passes, my love will continue surrounding you. I have walked beside you through every part of this journey, reminding you again and again that you have never been forgotten, never been abandoned, and never been left to face life on your own. Let these truths become deeply rooted within your soul, for they are not temporary encouragements. They are everlasting promises flowing from my heart to yours. Remember everything I have shown you. I have revealed that I was protecting you even when you could not see my hand. I reminded you that every sincere prayer reached my ears. I strengthened you during seasons of waiting and carried you through battles you never fully understood. I healed wounds hidden deep within your heart, replaced fear with peace, and taught you that your identity has always been found in my love rather than in your circumstances. Every chapter of your journey hath been held securely within my hands. My faithful servant, Archangel Michael, continues to fulfill every assignment I have given according to my perfect will. Wherever I command him to guard, he obeys. Wherever I appoint him to strengthen according to my purpose, he faithfully serves. Yet never forget that every act of protection begins with my authority and flows from my everlasting love. Your confidence has never rested in the servant, but in the loving Father who watches over you day and night without growing weary. As you leave this moment and return to the responsibilities of your life, do not leave behind the peace I have placed within your heart. Carry it with you into your home, your work, your conversations, and your quiet moments alone. Let my peace shape your decisions. Let my wisdom guide your steps. Let my promises become stronger than every fear that tries to return. Whenever uncertainty rises, remember that I have already gone before you. Whenever sorrow visits, remember that I remain beside you. Whenever joy fills your heart, remember to thank me, for every good gift reflects my loving care. There will still be days when questions remain unanswered. There will still be moments when you cannot immediately understand my ways. But you no longer need complete understanding in order to trust me. You have learned that my timing is perfect, my wisdom is without limit, and my love never fails. Hold tightly to those truths. Let them become the anchor of your soul whenever the winds of life begin to blow. I also want you to remember that the peace I have given you was never meant to remain with you alone. There are weary hearts waiting for encouragement. There are people quietly carrying burdens they believe no one can see. There are souls longing to hear that they are loved, protected, and never forgotten. As I have comforted you, become a source of comfort for others. As I have strengthened you, strengthen those who feel weak. As I have forgiven you, extend forgiveness. Let your life become a reflection of the love you have received from me. Now, my beloved, if this message has become a light along your path, let that light continue reaching hearts that are still searching for hope. I say to you, the harvest is great, and every faithful seed sown into my work will bear fruit in the lives of souls you may never meet. The words, "Give, and it will be given to you," are not distant promises. They are my living invitation to walk with me in faith today. If I have stirred your heart, do not hold back what I have placed within it. Through your YouTube super thanks, your membership, or your PayPal gift using the donation link in the video description and the QR code provided with this ministry, you help carry my message of hope into homes across the world. Every generous act becomes another lamp shining into someone's darkness. I see every seed you sow with a willing heart, and I will bless your obedience according to my perfect wisdom and abundant love. Let your giving become an offering of worship, a declaration of trust, and a testimony that you believe my kingdom is worth advancing. Do not delay the prompting I have placed within your spirit. Rise now, sow with joy, and become a faithful instrument through whom my light continues reaching the nations. Now receive my blessing. May your heart remain at peace even when the world around you is restless. May your mind be filled with hope instead of fear. May your home be covered by my mercy, your steps directed by my wisdom, and your spirit strengthened by my unfailing love. May you remember every morning that you awaken beneath my care, and every evening that you rest within my embrace. Walk confidently, knowing that I am with you in every valley, upon every mountaintop, and throughout every ordinary moment in between. Nothing can separate you from my love. Nothing can overturn the purpose I have prepared for your life. Continue walking with me, trusting me, and resting securely beneath my protection, for I am your faithful Father today, tomorrow, and forever. Amen.